Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 10th point, season 8, week 4. I am the Red Mage, and joining me this weekend every week is Gosmith.
Hello, I once fought a troll and won.
And Zanti.
Hello, I did not do any of that.
That just seems better as an option, like given the opportunity of fight troll or not fight troll, I'd be like, yeah, okay, maybe don't.
Don't fight the troll. I just imagine one of those gender male. Did you fight a troll? No.
Or like in a question, like if you're feeling like some sort of document under like, have you ever been convicted for a felony or whatever? It's like, have you ever fought a
Nope.
troll?
Naturally. We need a modern society here. But
Yeah,
hello everyone.
Yeah, we are getting ready to start our week 4 tournament. We have 10 players lined up and ready to go. So let us quickly talk about what we are doing here, and after that, it's we can get going.
Yeah. As always, we are the 10th point. We run weekly tournaments. Usually Swiss tournaments of Canadian Highlander, which is a 100 card singleton format, which means you can play 100 different cards, with the only cards you're allowed to have multiples of are cards like Basic Land or cards that specifically tell you you're allowed to run multiples. It also doesn't feature a ban list, but instead has a points list, which means you can run some of the best cards like Black Lotus, but it'll take up, in the case of Black Lotus, 7 out of the 10 points you can have in your deck. So that way you can't run both Black Lotus and Demonic Tutor in the same deck.
Demonic Tutor being 4 points.
Yeah, being 4 points in that case. If you're interested in the 10th point or in Canadian Highlander, then first of all, we have a Discord for all things Canadian Highlander. You can find it in the description or in the chat. Likewise, if you want to know more about us than what I'm going to be telling you here today, you can always write to us, or even better, we have a website where we have anything from announcements, tournament reports, our rules, or just info about us. If you want to join us in one of these tournaments and have some fun, then we have our next event command and a link to the MTG Melee page where you can sign up right now for the next event, which is on next Sunday, same time. If you enjoy what we're doing here, there's one good option, and that is throwing us a subscription. It helps us provide prizes and just improve the quality of the stream. One great way is through Twitch Prime, if you have one of those lying around. Those should be going somewhere and help support someone whose content you like. It doesn't have to be us. It could be some other streamer, another Magic content creator, or someone who plays something else. But I recommend using that to throw some love towards someone. That said, as Red Mage did say, we will be playing with 10 players today. We will be playing 4 rounds of Swiss. And by the end of that, we will hopefully have seen some powerful magic.
I do have something to mention regarding today's event, which is that following the unbanning of the card Allures of the Dream Den in Vintage, our format is back to obeying to the Vintage ban list strictly, as opposed to before, where we kinda do, but if you want to put Allures in, whatever. Which means we are going to go back to the Vintage tournament practice lobby on MTGO. I mostly say this sort of players know where to create their games, because that's the one that I will be watching. Although,
speaking of watching, I think it's about time we get that round 1 pairing started so we can figure out what to watch.
Yeah, let's do that. In fact, let's do that right now. I'm clicking. Oh, Well, I can't do that because I haven't clicked the start tournament button. Yeah,
I'm
I'm gonna
recommend
do that.
starting with the tournament. It is a
And
wise
now-
decision.
The tournament has started. Let's
And there
do
we go. We
this.
should have the round 1 pairings in a moment here.
And they're live.
Good. So let's just see here. We
Wait,
have Bailite versus JackyThePuppet.
Why
Blahguy getting a bye. Did we miss a player?
Wait, what?
1 second. We might be
Did
experiencing
someone
some...
not sign up in the register, confirm they were here?
Let's see here. Who are we missing?
We're missing Jackie Pepper, Northwood.
Are we? Jackie was there just a moment prior. But you're right. They were
Did they
signed
not
up.
include a deck list?
Oh, there might have been some technicality troubles. Santi, can you take care of that in the background with Jackie, perhaps?
I mean, I
We'll call
can't
in
do
everyone
anything
else.
with it because I'm not a tournament organizer on
No,
MTG.
true.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe Red Mage, if you can take care of that in the background. Then
I can. Okay, tell you what.
I will just quickly contact Dallas.
I do not necessarily know how I'm supposed.
You're not force add a player.
Sadly, Irish Laurie, we are, as I said before, we are experiencing a tad bit of technical problems here with one of the players. We'll have to see if we can get them in as well, or we'll have to just run a 9 player event, sadly.
Oh,
Would be
did they just not? Are they just gone?
I mean,
It appears they
tournament
dropped
card.
from the event, or some way they were dropped from the event, not necessarily.
Apparently their computer is giving them trouble. That's what's happening. Well,
I'm not sure there's much we can do about that at this point. Like,
I mean, I'm probably find a way to put. Oh, what is this?
well, I mean,
put
there's
them-
not much we can do if they are having technical difficulties.
Yeah,
on their
okay.
end.
If
That's
they're
something we can
dropping,
fix, that's what
obviously
I'm
we
saying.
can't fix a technical issue on their part. If they show up, maybe we can
Yeah,
give
we
them
can
a,
fix it
a round one
if,
loss
like,
and
yeah, that's the worst case scenario.
yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think we start out by going through the round 1 as intended, and then we just give a round 1 bye and a round 1 loss to Jackie if they can find a way to get back into the game. I think that's the most reasonable
Yeah.
conclusion.
You added deck list for someone, Marco?
Excuse me?
Can you add a deck list for someone?
I don't know.
I say while we are doing that, I think the rest of you, except Blahguy, can start going into your matches in the meantime at the very least, and Blahguy hang around and see if you have someone to play against. So,
Yeah.
let's
In the
see what
meantime,
matches we have.
why don't the two? I'm gonna mock with my controller to figure out if I have figure things out.
So I'm
But
looking here. We have Bailite versus JackyThePuppet. Jackie actually hasn't played the season at all, so I'm considering that one. We have Brahms versus Wolfgang, Evios versus Einstein, and Necropotence versus Luca. So
The people I always like watching round 1 are Luca, because we never know who Luca's on, what Luca's
Luca
on.
is always bringing something interesting.
But we haven't seen Necro doesn't have hand cams, I believe, and we haven't seen Jackie, so we may as well
Great.
So we may as well watch them. That sounds fine. We're gonna know what Bailite's on, but that's fine.
Let me just let them know. So in the meantime, yeah, you mentioned we already kind of know what Bailite is on.
Okay, so Jackie has been added to the event and given a round 1 loss, and if that changes, we can fix that. And
we give him a round 1 loss? Like, we haven't even started rounds really.
well, but are they? Can they participate
He just
in
couldn't load Chrome. That's what they said.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, I can play, but I
Oh,
can't get.
then it's fine.
Chrome's not working. I can't get my deck listed.
That's okay. I just added you without the deck list. Send me the deck list, and I'll just, if you can DM me the deck list, that's helpful. But outside of that, I can probably.
Okay,
I'll pair you. I'll edit things up so that you're paired against Blahguy. How about that? And then the two of you can duke it out. Edit pairings.
Okay.
There you go.
Santi, could you perhaps guide Jackie through how to set up?
And so, who are we watching?
We're watching Jackie and Bailite. Jackie, you need to go into the tournament voice either with Bailite if you want to talk with him, or if you want to just be on your own, then set up some sort of private call with Midrange. Oh.
All right. Now that we are done there, and we should be good to go. Let's pick up some things. So Jack is at the bottom.
So we're just getting cover set up here. So we know what Bailite is on here now that I got interrupted last time. We've seen Bailite play for the last many seasons now, and the season as well. They've been on their Abzan deck, which is a traditionally Greyard based deck, somewhere in between the mid range and a control deck. Leading props
We'll be
towards the
leading on the
mid-range
control side.
I'd say. But it's definitely a deck that can go further than usual for such a deck.
Looks like we're on 4 colors over here.
Yeah, it looks like
and I see a
he
Mox.
is on some sort of 4-colored, yeah. With a Mox even.
Some sort of check pile, maybe?
Quite possible.
They have card that's been banned in every format, Mox, a couple lands, and a Planeswalker. So their hand's not that bad.
Mox has also been banned in basically.
Well, it's not legal in every format. This card is banned in every format. It's illegal. Including Pauper. You know what it takes to get banned in Pauper? You either need to be absurd or you need to have Storm printed on you.
Or you need to mana fix like nobody's business. Archives Astrolabe. Then again, I guess you can argue Astrolabe is pretty busted. It got banned in Legacy for God's sake. And Modern.
Astrolabe's a card
Let's see if that cuts out the return that I was getting.
Turns out to just be more absurd than it has any reason to be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that if they told you, okay, we're just gonna make Prophetic Prism like a little bit harder to cast, but then we're gonna also like shave a mana, and we're gonna see what that does to the mana situation, like to how good that card is, I would be like, yeah, sounds fine. That sounds like a pretty reasonable. I should probably tell them that they're good to go. Oh, they have started.
But we do see an Inquisition, or we do see the Taxian Probe, which shows the Inquisition, which will cause the Max Sapphire to be played on turn 1 instead of it not being played. So it doesn't get taken here.
Jackie does choose to play the Mox here, which does leave the option of turn 1 Inquisition the Mox. Not really an option.
Yeah, you do get the turn 1 Inquisition Dak Baden, however, now, which is not amazing either.
It's a good way to keep your Mox safe. Because Dak is able to...
Ooh,
this might be a great punish here. depending on what we see from Jackie here.
And you know the other thing about the Winding Waves, I think it drew 3 cards, so Bailite has to discard now as well. Now we're probably going to just see this Dak Faded. We're going to see this Marshflats fetch for a red source, and then Dak Faded come out here. Would be my guess.
That will likely be some sort of Badlands, presumably.
You could get a Plateau.
I don't think you play the Plateau because you're not playing white, most likely.
You don't know that. This could be 5 colors.
It could be, yes. I'm just making based on what I remember of Jackie playing and assumptions, I'll admit.
Oh, we see the mocks get stolen, so it's not. I mean, I don't remember exactly what Bailite's hand is, but it's not looking great for Bailite.
I also remember it was an Inquisition, a Tasigur, some lands, and what is the black
Turn 2 Tasigur
another
is a
land?
good follow-up. We're gonna probably see an Assassin's Trophy is a good draw here.
Yeah.
And the mana
Fade.
works out very well that you can cast both Balefrost Tricks and Assassin's Trophy this turn, which is very fortunate.
Belfield, Season's Fault Seeds, also great cards here. Just a lot of options here from Jackie. I imagine we're going to see a land and something else discarded here.
Yeah, I'm actually a
Even
fan
two
right
lands.
now of kind of discarding this Bone Crusher Giant. We see the Thoughtseize get ditched, which is fine.
Choosing to just let the Tasigur stay on board here. Are we going to see him leave Spell Pierce up here in case something happens and just let the Tasigur stay on the board? Or are we going to see just getting rid of the
Assassin's
Tasigur?
Trophy if it's necessary.
What do you think Jackie wants to even kill a Tasigur here?
I think if this Casper attacks, we're definitely blocking. I think end of turn will probably. I'm probably spell piercing this and not Assassin's Trophy.
Oh, interesting. Going for the Assassin's Trophy immediately instead of just spell piercing here. What do you think about that?
I would have spell pierced here. It makes sure your spell pierce gets used on a card that is pretty relevant. I mean, this Inquisition is now going to take your skews, which was your way to win this game at this point.
And you don't happen to know it, but there's not going to be a good target for your spell pierce in a hot while here. So we're going to see a scry here. Bailite just trying to find something here, presumably. Find something that impacts this board. Jack Faden is just going to help Jackie here consistently have the tools they need to deal with whatever threats Bailite is throwing it out. Maybe looking for some sort of Assassin's Trophy or similar to deal with Attack Faden here as well on Bailite's side. Does find a creature and a land that's not really too relevant here. So I presume both are getting bottomed.
Dak Baden just find more lands which are getting discarded.
But you have both this giant and a creeping toppet, both ways allowing you to use this mana quite efficiently. So you're not lacking for things to do currently.
We're probably gonna see Bone Crusher here, kill the Charming Prince, and then be played, which I'm not a fan of as well. And this is another reason why I didn't like playing the Spell Pierce last turn, or didn't like not Spell Piercing, was you now are in a place where, because your Scavenging Ooze is getting taken, which I think it's reasonable to assume that the Scavenging Ooze was what's getting taken. The other cards in your hand are not as powerful as this Ooze. You kind of force yourself to be put in a place where you're going to Bone Crusher whatever is on board so you can use your mana efficiently if you don't draw anything, which now means that your Bone Crusher kind of feels bad hitting this Charming Prince, and would feel so much better if it hit this Nissa over here that you're no longer going to be able to hit.
This is correct. How about there's one thing I'm looking at. This does allow you to play hold up your spell pierce. I mean, admittedly, you could activate the. So you're suggesting just activating top it, swinging, and leaving it at that, perhaps?
I mean, because you don't have the screws, I would have ideally liked to be holding up Assassin Trophy and play screws this turn. That's what I think the best play would have been from JackyPepper.
Well,
Puppet, or
currently we do not have that, so that is
Yes.
another line of play. that is
As
available.
far as this play kind of it incentivized you to do this. You do draw a great card here in Leopold, which is going to draw you 2 more cards almost certainly. But like the play last turn of, are we not playing this Leopold before combat? Oh, it's the other Leopold, isn't it?
Correct.
That makes sense. We do see now that this Nissa is just gonna
2 Leopold, I believe.
Really, Nissa's just chumping here. I guess you can correct
Makes a
it.
lot of sense. You can bounce over Caracas and get some more lands that way. You're not going to be spending your mana that much. Like, you can cast this Academ's Crypt. Is that what it's called? I can't remember.
Agatham's Awakening.
Awakening, yeah. That'll allow you to get some. I believe we have like a Tassiger, Charming Prince. I think we don't have too many.
You're
other
not
cards
getting a
that you have to get
Tassiger back with this card, dude.
No, you're not. But you might get like Nissa and a Charming Prince back.
You
That's
could
not
get
gonna
Nissa Charming Prince back. That's reasonable, but that is 6 mana. That is a lot of mana.
Bailite's
You could
just
do it.
finding a bunch of lands here, and has found actually all of their basic forests now, both of them. Sorry.
Which are notably snow covered and not snow covered for most likely Field of the Dead. We see True Name here. That's also a very powerful card.
Yeah, that'll like this game is already way in Jackie's favor, but True Name is just gonna like help close this game just that bit faster.
Yep. We're gonna see the same trick get deployed here. Brainstorm
yes.
here is interesting. You honestly want all of these cards.
Yeah, both mana drain.
Put your mana drain. So this is where someone's gonna get. Most people will pick the wrong thing. You don't want mana drain. You know what cards you're drawing next turn. You don't have a lot of stuff to do with this
Not
extra
completely
mana.
true, but mostly true. Yeah, due to the fact that you have the attack Faden.
Hmm.
But you're mostly right. Yeah.
It's like you do not need to keep this mana drain over this counterspell. And I mean, the next card you're going to keep on the top of your library anyway, so it doesn't make a huge difference. But if you do need to counter something like this Nissa now, which I am definitely countering once it gets played, you aren't probably going to use this mana, and you're not going to counter the Nissa, which is surprising from me. Your opponent hasn't showed you they're willing to do anything else this whole game. And with another counter, you have next turn.
We do get
also with Nissa becoming a feature.
Yep.
So Planeswalker.
Do you just make a 4/4 here? It seems like that's what's going to happen here.
This 4/4 blocks Leopold, trades with Bone Crusher.
For the
record, downside of not countering anything here is that you're left with just you left mana open for doing nothing really.
For the record, I'm just gonna interrupt real quick here. You were asking about the presence of forests and snow-covered forests. Bailite's deck is a Tainted Pot deck.
That's true.
Correct, but historically Bailite has actually been running free forest even in a Tainted Pack list.
Yes, he usually would play 2 forests, but like 2 regular forests in this snow. I don't know why, but...
But is he only on 1 each this week then?
I will check.
I think you just put both lands from the deck in back here. Or you can put back one of your counter spells, but it only... If you put back a counter spell, you should put back mana. But,
you're not putting it back, you're discarding it.
Oh, that is true. You're discarding.
But yeah, I think you want the Verdant here. Get your 4th blue source.
I think that
the tropical island or volcanic island. Now you can both cast mana drain and True Name Nemesis. Just put on even more pressure here on the board.
I think that the Zendikar fleet plans I have finally managed to cure Bailite of his I play 2 forest insanity. And now he is just... now he's just playing... he's playing Monovich.
If we see this attack, we're going to see a trade here of the 4 power creatures. Puts Bailite down to 10. I would have actually liked more playing this True Name Nemesis over this Creeping Tar Pit, because I think it actually does get more damage in through the long run, because you don't have to actively pump mana into the True Name Nemesis, where you do with the Creeping Tar Pit every turn.
Yeah, over 2 turns it's going to be the same damage due to the fact that both 3 power creatures. So you're not going to lose damage by going this way around, but you are going to lose mana, actually, as you mentioned.
And actually, we did see the Creeping Tar Pit go after the Nissa, which I didn't mention. Or we saw the Baleful Strix go after the Nissa.
So what do you think about the fact that we see them not just going fully lethal here?
I think
Or
that they
not
were at,
lethal,
what,
but just-
11 before, or were they at 13? They were at 13,
I believe they were at 10 actually, but I might remember incorrectly. Might have gained some life somewhere.
It was interesting. I was trying to figure out if it was correct for them to attack with the Leovold as well, because if they blocked the Leovold, they were taking like 8 damage, and you have a Creeping Tar Pit on board that you're kind of like, look, I'm going to put you at -3 if you choose to block this guy that keeps your 4/4 around. I'm going to put you within a Creeping Tar Pit range, and I have a True Name in my hand. Like,
that's something I find with some players. Something we usually actually talk about Bailite doing is just not being aggressive enough, even in your non-aggro decks. Like, people are sometimes too afraid to like throw away a creature.
I mean, on the flip side, from Jackie the Puppet side of point of view, it's like, what are you concerned about? You have this mana drain in hand. You're already have a dominating board presence. Like, what's the risk? Like, I can get blown out, and then if they have some 2-for-1, maybe I just lose the game after that. And so, I don't think it's necessarily
we're
wrong.
probably going to see lethal here actually due to the mana drain, so we can activate both of our mana lands here, which should. It is not actually lethal due to the Caracas, but it is going to put Jackie in a great position. I imagine this is what we're going to see, but I might be wrong.
Looks like we're seeing the Lumbering Falls get activated first.
And then likely the Tar Pit following it.
Yep.
Have we seen Necropotence activated for turn?
It lost, I believe. That's why there's a spell snare in hand. Not that Necropotence could do anything else at this point, but we are going to see Leovold bounce this, or Crocus bounce Leovold, unless Bailite just wants to move on from this game and say...
Which is perfectly reasonable, honestly.
He does not, which is also a reasonable thing to do. We see a Dragon Soul Skullman enter the hand, which will be played now. Not another blue source, which is important because Spell Snare is not pulled up now. Hold up. The one thing I do like about how Jackie Puppet played this was he did not reveal he has True Name in his deck. Which is important information if you can remain hidden to remain hidden.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing, especially against blue decks. It's often a question of how have they chosen to spend their points. Have they gotten 7 points on the Ancestral Recall package? And then probably some cards that can supplement that?
You do know they're not on Ancestral now, because you did see Mox and you did see Mana Drain.
True. So we do know that it's at least not Ancestral.
We see Bailite Mulligan here to 6, and then we see Jackie the Puppet down here. Keep a hand with Library Bounce, Andrew. Powerful magic cards, everyone. A lot less powerful when there's a Thoughtseize getting played on turn 1. And we also will say goodbye to this Oko, another card that's banned in almost every format.
No, the Thoughtseize was taken.
So I'm curious here. Santi, if you're Jackie, do you just want to like cast library and just wait?
Yeah, I mean, that counterspell makes
Oh no,
this.
Foxes was taking. I was going to ask if Foxes was another option, but I was taking. Never mind. Library of Alexandria versus Bailite. This is not a fight Bailite wants to be in. Bailite wants to be the one sitting with cast like Library of Alexandria, not the one
Yes.
who's getting them cast against him.
We're also going to see this as Ancestral Visions get
Oh,
suspended.
wow.
Oh God,
He's
Bailite,
not
you're
playing Ancestral Recall, but he is playing Ancestral Visions, which is close enough.
I guess Bailite specifically.
Yeah, and we're seeing
Like the
Bailite here,
dream
really
master
slow
for that.
hand, does have a Abrupt Decay, but is also sitting with a 5-drop, a 6-drop, and a 4-drop. Admittedly, 2 of those can be cast on the sheep in some way or manner, but still, it is not an optimal situation for Bailite to be in.
You may
Not
be
being
the
able to cast
first person to
anything
refer to Tasker as a 6-drop. Like, have you ever heard someone refer to Gurmag Angler being a 7-drop that you play on turn 7?
Well,
It's 7 mana,
I
but you
mean,
play
yeah,
it
if
on
you
turn
Wolfgang the
3.
Yard or something already. But, like, it's not unreasonable to cast it. Like, I've cast some Dig for times and such for a lot of mana where I've just been like, yeah, I want to keep my cast in Yard, or I just have
You
one of the cards in
can,
Yard.
but it's still
Admittedly,
not
I will
going.
say Tassiker and Gurmag Angler are more rare in that occasion. In Jackie's position here, you have 7 cards in hand at the beginning of your upkeep. Do you just like activate library immediately and just draw the card?
You first spell pierce this card, and then you don't have
No, we
that
draw a
problem
card
anymore.
first. It seems.
I thought you
In
already drew a
Jackie?
card, but I guess that would be incorrect. So I actually don't like that. They fetched, which I'm not sure why they fetched in order to spell pierce. If they were planning on fetching to spell pierce, I would have rather them did that before they library so they don't accidentally draw the card they're planning to fetch it.
Bailite finding the 4th land here. Now both Siege
Which
Rhino and Taziker are online, both of them.
will now hit this counterspell that's been sitting in his hand.
Yep.
We will
Which is
now
actually interesting. I think
This is-
depending on what Jackie goes for here next turn.
we're going to see the Ancestral
Taziker might come
Visions
down.
get cast. Oh, is it next turn? It's next turn.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
think
you
it's
still
next
get the
turn.
library this turn. You get the library, play this Noble Hierarch, play this Oko.
Nope,
Just
we
play the
don't play
Oko.
Oko. That's perfectly reasonable. Jackie here just sitting with all the cards, all the advantage. They're just
I
gonna
would have liked to
playing
play
in
this
hand.
Noble Hierarch as well. Just increase your mana.
Try and
output.
develop your mana. So I
But
was
then
talking to
you can't.
Nando Loman yesterday. 1 second, Red Mage, and this is important.
Yes, sir.
I was talking to Loman, a real expert of the format yesterday, and we were talking about a notable card. What is it called? The 3/2 that when you tutor the anti-tutor creature we got recently.
Opposition Agent.
Opposition Agent, yes. He was talking about how big a deal that card actually is in the format, and how that card means that you probably should be fetching earlier than you used to. And we see here, as you mentioned, a tutor here would have been really nice, but like, if you tutor, your opponent plays Opposition Agent in response, suddenly you're down a card, and they got a free land.
There's a lot of times where if you're playing a deck and your opponent plays an Opposition Agent, I will just concede. If I'm playing certain decks like Cradlehoof, like if I'm playing Cradlehoof and I see an Opposition Agent, I'm just backing up. There's no point in continuing the game.
Yeah, we're gonna see Oko dealt with, Tezuka coming down.
You were also going to mention something, Red Mage?
Yeah, I was just saying that I think that you absolutely should not be casting the Noble Hierarch there, as you were suggesting, because that way you go off library. Whereas
No, you don't. He's an Ancestral Visions coming off next turn.
Correct.
Oh, there's an
Ancestral
Ancestral.
will be bringing you up way up.
Like,
next turn.
Then you
That's why I
absolutely
really
cast
like
it,
doing it
because
this
that
turn.
way you'd go, because otherwise you go off library.
So here's the thing that's interesting about this line. With the Oko out of the way, currently Jackie does not have any actual answer to this Hazuka, which means that Now Bailite has one way to get back into this game slowly but surely. I suppose the things can stop it from really getting in much, but there's nothing stopping Tactical from just paying 4.
You
getting
first
card.
start with this noble hierarch. They're gonna start with Baleful Strix, which is fine. It draws you a card, and I'm really trying to get under that amount to draw a card with Library this turn. You just keep drawing with Library, and you can't lose this game. This draws a card. Oh, there's
I
Tarmogoyf
think
as well.
either way, like regardless, I think you
don't-
are
Okay, Caracas is a good draw. It does bounce the
true.
Tasker.
It does make this task really, really awkward.
I really don't think that was a problem though this turn, and I would have much rather have gotten down. Like this turn,
I think
I really think you just needed to be. If you had your Noble Hierarch out last turn instead of playing that tap land, why are you discarding your Tarmogoyf? Oh, you didn't discard your Tarmogoyf. I thought it looked like the highlight was on Tarmogoyf, and I was like, this is the best card in your hand right now. It's how you win
like
this
at this
game.
point, you just want to be developing the board like right now. You can keep trading 1 for 1, turn after turn after turn. You have so much card advantage. And like if your opponent spends the majority of the last turns not really doing too much each turn, you should know that you can just keep on applying some pressure, play some Tarmogoyfs, play some Noble Hierarchs, get in there. Not even gonna play a Tactical here. Just realizing, yeah, it's just gonna get bounced by Caracas. Waste of time.
Mocked Troll. Okay.
Not the most interesting draw, but it's mana.
Now,
At least.
looks like we have a Kalidas that's just drawn for turn. We're gonna probably see land and then Library.
Seems so.
Library looks to have drawn a Scavenging Ooze. I do like playing. I like playing the Tactical this turn. And for bolting the Deathray Shaman, of course.
I presume you don't mean Tactical.
Tarmogoyf, sorry. Tarmogoyf, Tactical, so
What
many.
about the
so many
Kalitas
things.
instead, perhaps?
I don't know. I think your Tasker or your Tarmogoyf is bigger than your Kalidas.
True, but as soon as you kill the Deathray Shaman, don't you suddenly get a 2/2 already?
You could have done Kalidas, and then you could have done You could have done Kalidas and then Forked Bolt. That is a fair play.
So this is what, a 5/6 Tarmogoyf currently, it seems?
Yeah, so you'd have the same amount of power on board, but you'd be holding up less mana. I don't know, what is this? What's this blue spell in their hand that I can't read?
The left or the rightmost?
The left one is
Daze,
Daze.
and the rightmost
I
is
don't.
evasive action. That is
What's
a
evasive?
domain spell that says counter unless its controller pays 1 for each.
So this is why you
basic type.
Yeah, this is why you hold up you play Tarmogoyf instead, so you can hold up invasive action if you choose to play it. We're just gonna see Nissa come down. Nissa's gonna get a land. We're gonna play the land. Then we're gonna see the Shriek Maw evoked, which I do like dazing here. You daze, you pick up your land, and you don't actually go down on cards in hand. So you don't pay for this daze. Yes, I do like this. You don't pay for your daze. You just put a land back in your hand. You're still on Library next turn. We see the food.
I had to take care of something. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I was making the statement how they could have cast their daze, but I really like that they didn't cast their daze and instead chose to just pick up a land with their daze to keep Library online.
Yeah,
we've seen JackyThePuppet be very committed to keeping a Library online.
Yeah, I mean at this point, this game is too far out of hand for Bailite to even come back. Jacky's drawing multiple cards, can dig for the cost they want with Dark Maiden. They can encounter multiple spells a turn, play some threats. This game has definitely gotten out of hand. Like, this library, don't get me wrong, the library was good. But the fact that Bailite just did not much for the first many turns, really, just allowed
he cast
this library to get away.
He did nothing until turn 4 where he cast the Siege Rhino.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, and that's
I
what
still think that
is.
I still think that based on the way the game has gone out, if there hadn't been this library, you would be pretty fine from Bailite's point of view. And you would still be behind a little bit.
You'd definitely not be in a great position as was both Oko, Dark Faden. Like, don't get me wrong, it wouldn't have been a great position to be in Bailite, but it would have been a lot closer.
It would have been a game, and it would have been a game that was very possible for Bailite to still win. This game has far past reached the point of being possible for Bailite to win.
Yeah, like this next turn, unless Bailite finds some incredible card, which is
I am countering every card that gets played this turn with my quadrillion counters.
Just put the default guaranteed.
You can't counter Emrakul, the Promise Stance trigger.
Jesus Christ. When does this become like ASMR? Jesus.
5 minutes ago.
Kindly stop. I like ASMR, but that was somehow creepy.
I don't think you have enough mana to cast this Emrakul, though. That's the problem.
No, I don't believe you have so. So yeah, we see the library here, especially taking home the game.
I assume we still have back tables going on.
Do we have back tables going on? We have Wolfgang and Brahms, and we have Luca and Necro. Let's go to Wolfgang and Brahms because Luca and Necro because Necro has no camera.
Agreed. So yeah, once again, there's a reason why library is 1 point. There's not like a lot of decks that you usually see playing it, but it is a card that can just, if it just goes unchecked and just is allowed to do its thing. But like, that's usually not the case. Usually you'll have your opponent either having some sort of answer to it in like a wasteland or like strip mine or whatever. You'll have them being aggressive enough that you can't really just afford to do it. That's usually some sort of answer. Ooh, wait a second. I'm imagining that Brahms is the one on the top, because I'm pretty sure Wolfgang is not playing. Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, they got mixed up. I'll fix that.
Both of their hand cams are just the same.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So, if I remember correctly, I played against Wolfgang a bit, not on MTGO recently, but they've been on this Grixis pile here, which is a sort of a mid-rangey pile, which is not the camera we see currently. If I remember correctly, it seems like it looks to me like Brahms is on some sort of madness pile here. Madness reanimate. We did see Brahms.
Are we on the same like dredge pile that he was on last time?
Yeah, I was gonna say that might be the other option. They might be in the same dredge pile as last time around, which is like with what they're playing, also very much an option. Grow of the Burn Widows to activate. What is it called?
Punishing Fire.
What is the 2-mana burn spell? Punishing Fire. Thank you. Correct. Strip Mine. Ooh. Interesting, but not nearly as interesting when you're not really doing anything currently.
We see the favorite card of Swiss Spear in this deck over here for Wolfgang.
Yeah, it's a card that can definitely help punish and put some pressure on. But currently, with the hand I'm looking at here, it's not looking all that impressive. Like,
No, the impressive card out of this hand is River of Tears. Or is not River of Tears. Gurmag Angler. You can get a 5/5 next turn. Now, while a turn 3 5/5 is very powerful,
actually not true. Due to the fact that River of Tears currently is producing blue.
Isn't River of Tears if it's your turn you produce black?
No, it's if you have played the land.
Let me take this one, please. It produces blue if. No, it produces black. Correct. If to be more precise, if you have another land as the battlefield this turn.
Yeah. So you can always stop it and then play your land.
Correct.
If you need it to make blue mana. Having it make black mana is harder, but.
Yeah, we're just gonna see what kind of island come down here. Mono Swiss Spear, just stop bringing in some beats here. I'm interested, Santi. What do you think about not Bailite's Brahms' choice here to just strip mine?
I mean, it was the only black source you saw from them. It was interesting if you wanted to strip mine that or the red source, given that the red source is always on while the black source is not, making it
Do you think
harder
it was
for the
correct
black
to
source
like
to be a
strip mine
black
even?
source.
You're sitting in
It
a hand with
was.
2 free drops.
Would I have stripped mine there? Probably not. I would have probably waited until I had Rotting Venusaur. Out. It's awkward to strip mine when you don't have when you're not doing something else with your mana. It doesn't help you in any capacity. It's just possibly hurting your opponent and then making you go down a turn. So if you both go down a turn, then it's kind of neutral. So I don't really like it there, but I can see why Brahms did it. Maybe he was hoping to draw into a 2-drop this turn, in which case he could play, which he didn't, unfortunately. But
Now we do find the black souls here, so that is going to be a test. Going back after coming down here, put on some real pressure now, more than the 1 point.
we're going to see the Rotting Venusaur go down. The Rotting Venusaur is going to get terminated. Is the match score correct, by the way? Is it 1-1?
Sorry, what did you say?
Is the match score correct? Is it actually 1-1?
It
I
is
am not
correct.
sure. I
It is 1-1.
considering the last game ended up 0-2.
It is correct. It is 1-1.
But yeah. So if the Rotting Register survived here, you would be able to Madness this Ravager into play if you wanted to. Which might save you
Reanimate
the
that was
mana
just
depending what
drawn?
you drew.
Am I getting to reanimate this? I can't do it this turn.
Not this turn,
But
though.
am I getting to reanimate this Rotting Venusaur?
Perhaps. There's a chance. There's also just a chance that we end up just out-tempoing Brahms here and just winning the usual way. Yeah, we're definitely seeing Brahms here on their Dredge Shell. Ashen Ghoul here.
Your Drench
Being-
Shell that still
I
doesn't
believe
win the
it's
game when
Ashen
they
Ghoul.
build it. Disappointed.
Yes, Ashen Ghoul. Standard of
You
classic
see Wolfgang just
Highlander
letting
stable
us
here.
all know he wants his own dino.
Seems you have some sort of soulmate here, Santi.
It's Rotting Venusaur. It's a 7/6. Who doesn't love Rotting Venusaur?
I mean,
This
to
is
be honest,
the
I do as well.
Rotting Venusaur is one of those cards that's printed where it's very powerful. It's a very powerful card, but it's also very balanced, and it's not too powerful
Yeah.
by any means.
We just see the
But
braid
it's
here
so
to
fun.
put
It's one of those cards
Brahms
that
one
Wizards
here.
did a decent job at. Didn't make Oka or Euro. They just made a fun card. That's a 7/6.
Now that's a dinosaur. I mean zombie. I mean dinosaur. I mean both. Who knew that black would be the one card with the biggest creatures for the mana? Oh. And would have an upside even.
Well,
Yeah.
we see.
This is looking kinda bad. Literally any non-creature from Wolfgang here is gonna make this a guaranteed lethal. As then the Swiss Spear will be too powered and Ross will be able to block everything. However, they do have one in
You
hand,
find yourself
but that can't be actively cast and will be discarded, I presume, to the Rotting Register.
Yes. But you do find yourself when you have Swiss Spear in your hand, never to draw a non-counter spell. Or, as you see here, draw one that you can't cast. But you do attack with everything. This game's trivial at this point. Rotting Venusaur, taking it home, although it did nothing. It got terminated, but that's about it. Taking it home.
I just wanted to go on record that they also just this moment figured out a way to make it so they do not have to realign the names in the bottom row every time they write a name of different length in there, and I feel very proud of myself for that.
So I believe, do we have last game still going in the background, or is this the last one to finish? No, we still have the Necropotence Luca game, so let's just move on to that, but let's not set up hand cams.
Yeah. Holy moly.
We see a lot of goblins, and I see a lot of clues.
I see a lot of lands. But not a lot of time, actually.
The Grenzo not be able to block. Is this lethal? This is lethal though. Okay.
I feel pretty sure that this is lethal. Because
Yeah, you got
the least
3.
power you have is 2 and 2, 2 and 3. So yeah, this is more than lethal. Oh yeah, especially if the Grenzo can't block.
If the Grenzo could block, it was actually not lethal. You I think you go exactly to 1. Your opponent gets to keep the Dreadhorde Butcher around, but you go to 1.
So we didn't get to see a lot of magic there. We mostly got to see 1 attack for lethal. So
It was a beautiful attack though. You see
It
on-top
was a
pressure
beautiful
getting into
attack.
Sir. You see the Grenzo not be able to block. Like, what else more do you want from an attack other than Rotting Vegasaur in a combat? Like, of course, Rotting Vegasaur makes combat so much better.
Quick glance does reveal that it seems like Luca was on their done Aggro deck, which they've been working on for I think most of this season, if not this entire season. Actually, I think we've only received it on that deck this season. I might be wrong. Someone would have to correct me on that. Probably Luca, if anyone.
Rotting
Yeah,
Vegasaur
looks like that is
Legion
the end of
Royalist?
the first round.
Are you just making me like 2 Rotting Vegasaurs and a Legion Loyalist attacking, and then your Rotting Vegasaurs have first strike and trample? Right? That's how that card works? Or is it just trample? Oh, it's Legion Loyalist.
Oh, we do have another game. I missed that. My bad.
Yeah, that's a thing. I also thought it was not possible, but
That looks like a mulligan from Luca right there. You don't have the mana to cast your spells, and once you can cast them, there seems to.
If you're already mulliganed, I
this
guess
is
I
already
can
insane.
see
I
why
would
you
go to
keep it.
5 here. Not even a question. Like against goblins, they can really punish you for not really having your curve. And while it's definitely a bit meta-y, which I think is fine, Wasteland is just not good in this matchup because Necropotence is pretty much just playing basics.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't even really being meta. You've already played them for 2 games.
Correct.
You know what they're on. We do see
and of course, we're naturally never punished.
Look, you just gotta believe. There's a saying: you don't have to be good. You just have to draw your land when you need to draw your land on turn 2 and not get screwed over because you made a terrible mistake. Because then no one knows you made a mistake, and you're just good. We're gonna see a Duress get cast here, which is reasonable. See a hand, see what Necropotence sees.
Would you
that
have
is
the
true.
rest here or left up the just misses here?
I mean, I kind of expect my Duress to miss against goblins most of the time. They don't play too many non-creatures. The part that I'm more happy about is just to get information, and you're not doing anything else with this mana. I'm not casting Abrupt Decay.
You don't want to leave Trophy up. It is an instant after all.
I mean, you could leave Abrupt Decay up, but like, what are you really sitting Abrupt Decay for? Even here, Abrupt Decay isn't that good. It's saving you 3 damage. Not amazing. I mean, you cast.
But it'll make a difference in the end, really, because you're going to be casting creatures for the next couple of turns either way, and your opponent's still going to be putting cards on the board. So I presume we see some sort of free drop here, because we can't kill a creature and play the.
Yeah, we're gonna probably see the 3/3 come out because it's a 3/3.
Yeah. That said, it's forced to attack, so that is a downside of it. And when it hits, you discard your hand and draw 3, so that might actually end up being a downside, depending on what the board looks like and your hand looks like next turn. So I think, personally, I would actually lean towards the Pilot Dragon.
The problem with playing Tyler's Tracker, though, is like you already need to high roll in order to win this game. You're so far behind because of the amount of pressure you're under now. Like you need to high roll. You need to basically say if you're attacking, I'm blocking a 2-power creature, only taking 4. Otherwise, with the Tyler's Tracker, like, kind of I feel like are priced is still blocking a 2-power creature, and then you lose your tracker in the exchange.
So let's see what Necro has here. I'm going to see some more pressure, presumably. And if so, of what form? So one thing we should remember here is the fact that Necro at least knows that this Heartless Act is in hand due to the Goblin guy attacking and missing. So we know that they've seen it. It's been revealed.
Your mic is very loud, by the way. We keep
As I added some amount of noise suppression, so it should be a little better now. By which I mean I added a whole lot of noise suppression.
So,
Let's see if my CPU.
I think if you're in Lucas' slot here, you really need to find a Black Souls. So you can cast either double remove spell or remove spell Bone Picker. I think that's really what you're looking for here.
Fork Bolt is also not a bad draw here.
Which one?
Forked Bolt.
Fork Bolt, yeah. Fork Bolt has its 2 creatures, and then you still have the act afterwards, yeah.
So my guess from Necro's point of view is Necro can cast one of 2 big creatures and trying to decide which one's better. One probably puts more pressure on the board this turn, and one probably applies a lot more pressure the following turn. So 2 cards, probably something like Goblin Fire Driver or like some idiot with haste or something. Would be my guess about what the decision is. The other thing they could be deciding a whole lot about is do they attack? And if I'm Necro, I'm definitely attacking. I think giving your opponent a turn where you just don't attack and letting them stabilize is a mistake.
Yeah, agreed.
I
don't think attacking here should be a question. I think the question is, do we have something to do before attacking that makes this relevant? Like you want to get them as low as possible, and then maybe just win off some other just going why? Because you're not against a Router. You're probably not grinding them out.
I mean, Price of Progress only deals 2 if you wasteland your own land here. We're not going to talk about how you win after you have 1 land, but it only does deal 2.
If you were curious about the message that Ruha was trying to send you, which was completely indecipherable to me, he was saying that if he doesn't draw a Black Source, he thinks it's screwed. So he agrees with you there.
We see a 2-for-1 happen into this. Shred Horde Arcanist is not good enough, sadly.
No, I think this should be lethal no matter what we do here. We can't double spell here, so that should be lethal. Did we see what card? I missed what card was cast here. That
we saw Price of Progress into, I believe, a Tarfire or something else that dealt 2.
It was an Arc Trail, I believe.
Arc Trail, Fanatical Firebrand. Yeah, makes sense. That does it and deals a point of damage as well.
So we see Necro taking down Luca, going 2-1.
Yeah, Mink also made a good point. From last week, we did learn that Necro is actually not on Price of Progress as they're playing a Crypt build.
Well,
and double
could have changed it. You don't know.
True,
it's possible.
Changed. You're absolutely right.
And it's Mox Crypt, not Crypt Vault, by the way.
No, he said a Crypt build.
Oh, Crypt build? I thought you said Crypt Vault build. Never mind.
Right. I need to pair the next round, don't I? that's why he's waiting for.
We do have pairings
next round. We should probably get the people who aren't playing currently, who are sitting in rooms in here.
No, what? Why is...
So for this round, we'll be having a guest commentator taking my slot as I need to eat some dinner. We'll be introducing prior, not actual staff member, but common co-host of prior seasons, Lowman02. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to parse what you were saying there. Are you guys getting paid? Come on, Red Mage. What happened?
You guys getting paid?
Staff member getting paid,
Pretty
baby?
sure Red Mage is still in the negatives technically,
Yeah.
and I haven't earned a dime.
All right. Well, thanks for
I
having me on,
demand
guys.
a pay raise.
We're gonna go on strike next in a couple weeks.
It's the 10th point union. I'm so behind. I'm so behind at times, man. I don't
Just Santia and I running around Red
I feel like a
Mage's house
scab
with
labor or
signs.
something. I'm just like a scab labor getting beaten up by Pinkertons or something, like 1920s America. Christ.
God.
Alrighty, so we got some magic coming up.
Yeah, let's see what we have here for round 2. So
I
we have
haven't
the
seen what
following.
the meta looks like recently. It looks like it's still fairly similar as far as like a pretty good spread of like mid-rangey to blue mid-rangey decks, green X-based
Yeah.
mid-rangey decks. You know,
You see,
include
we
Dredge in
don't
that
see a
pile.
ton of
Yeah.
combo
Goblins.
this week, it seems like.
Yeah.
I think Einstein's probably the only one who's really rocking combo. As far as I'm...
Yeah.
Brahms, no, I guess you could argue Dredge is sort of combo. There's some Reanimate, there's some
This is
Hermit
also
Druid
like
in there as
the
well.
4th week, and we haven't seen a mono red deck yet in the tournament.
It's
No,
a
we've not seen
hostile
an
environment.
actual mono red.
It's a hostile environment for red. Like, look, if I was going to play red in this meta, like, I would play goblins. Like, I think that is probably the best idea to combat, like, what's going on. Because, like, yep, Bailite's deck is very good at beating up on fair non-blue decks. You know, you got the Grixis deck that's out there right now. It's very good against red deck wins. I mean, it's not, like, perfect, but I think it's 50-50 to, like, 52-48 or something. Like, a little bit favored Grixis if you play it very tight. But they have the efficient removal now to like really just kind of match 1-for-1 with red deck wins, and their threats are just better.
So before we talk too much about the model metric, and we can continue about that in a moment, I think we should find out who we'll be having featured. So it seems like we had a player. Is it correct that we had a player?
No,
No, I think this is the website being weird with what happened.
Okay, so we have Bailite versus Brahms, Jackie versus Blahguy, Luca versus, is that against Jackie P?
Yes.
And then we had
I
Necro
imagine.
versus Einstein and Wolfgang versus Evius. Is there one of those two you guys want to see?
Oh, I'm down with whatever. I haven't been watching the 10th point in a while, to be frank, because normally I'm busy on Sundays. I've just happened not to be this week, so you guys make the choice on it. I'll watch whatever and talk about whatever. Magic.
We did watch Jackie. I'm trying to see if there's one of these. Wolfgang and Evius have not been featured. No, Wolfgang was featured.
What's
Were
Evios
they?
on? Yeah, they were. Well, we watched
I think
everyone.
there's some sort
They
of,
were on
mono
mono
green,
green
mid-range.
last week.
mid-range,
Mid-range?
That's my guess.
medium.
Medium. Let's watch that. That's actually gonna be an interesting game, I think. Yeah. I think medium green is slight advantage versus Grixis because Grixis, like I was talking about, like assumes a lot of the more low end control for like the aggressive matchups, and it makes it harder. To combat Thruns and like shifting Ceratops is actually oddly a hard matchup. Even like the big green dumb creatures like beat up on Grixis. It's kind of weird. But a lot of big dumbs in green now that just are uncounterable and ranch blue cards. So, if you guys are cool with that, I'm down with it.
Yep.
Alrighty.
That sounds good.
I
do you
just
have
didn't know.
What are you having for dinner, guys, or meal?
I'm having some pasta with. I can't actually remember. I didn't make dinner. I didn't have time today, so my parents was kind to do that for me.
So, I knowing where you're actually from, it's kind of weird to hear you say it like that. You say it like you're like from like Jersey Shore, like pasta. I like it.
Pasta.
Yeah, you did. It's a Boston accent, really. As a pasta. Like
I mean, when you're not American, you end up with a very hybridized, or like when you're not natively English, you do end up with a very like hybridized language. I'll mix American English with British English with like.
No, I
odd,
think
like,
everyone does
terms.
it. Like you like pick up on like sort of like a hackneyed dialect that you just tend to enjoy. Mine tends to be southeastern Kentucky.
Either way, it does seem like we have the game underway.
Oh, we're underway.
I will be leaving you to commentate. Have some fun.
All right, take it easy, bud. Alrighty, so we kind of missed the beginning here, and I think we're still getting hand cams up. It looks like we have a slow land start from Wolfgang. It does not appear ramp spells have been cast because those are all lands that I do not think you can find with ramp spells. All right, so they got Chain, Drown. This hand's not bad. Vamp. So, what do you think the chances are they vamp for a mana source?
Fairly high if they don't know what the top of their library. If they
I could
cast something,
yeah, I could see clinging end step if there's a target, and I think there is. There's a Nissa in the bin. I think it's Nissa the Vivian's blah blah blah, the one that's a planeswalker for 3.
yes.
I could see just drawing there because like I think what I would like to do is like get the land off the cling, get lucky on it in the next 2 draws, and then vamp for like a sweeper. Yeah, I'd like to vamp for a sweeper against all these dorks and this Hydra.
Oh, this is mono game.
Yeah, and like the Hydra's not at its best in this matchup, but it's still big. It's just a big lad.
We see field here, which I'm actually really happy to just cling now and then
Yeah, for sure. And then you can vamp. Yeah, I mean, if you
if
cling
you
into
need
your
to.
land, yeah.
Cling, see what you draw, and then if you need to, you can just vamp now. I actually
Yep.
really like this line.
Also builds up the graveyard on the opposing side for the Drown in the Lock. Drown in the Lock of note, like honestly, this is a sleeper card in my opinion in the format. Like I was not that high on it when I first saw it because it is sort of written like a Punisher card. But the thing that shines through on the card, at least in my opinion, is that it is it's able to act as both a counter spell and a removal spell, which makes it a little more flexible than like a literal counter spell. Maybe not always as as on like against the early drops. It's not going to be as great, but generally speaking, just the stock overall, I think in counter spells has kind of started to decline a bit. Like 2 mana is just a lot for a lot of the threats that are out there. You got Hex Drinkers now, stuff like that. It's a little tough, but I do like Drown quite a bit. So I think we are going to vamp for a mana source here. Maybe not. Yeah, you got Arc Trail to kind of deal with the board. You can plink the Jiraga and the birdies, clean up a bit.
You hit the birds or you hit the boar druid?
I hit the birds, I think. I mean, yeah, Boreal Druid does attack, but Boreal Druid does not fix though, and I kind of want them to have to tap their damage. So, like they have two lands that tap for damage on board, and they're to 12, and I'm assuming there's been no damage done to them, which means that Dread Horde Butcher and the Chain Lightning could close pretty quick if they tap those lands 2 more times. Like if we get 4 more damage off mana sources there for green color.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage to be used to take.
Well, it is 4 damage, and a lot of damage so far they take it, and then like you add in the Dread Horde Butcher and the Chain Lightning. You could be looking at a game win from that. Yeah. Or essentially making the Dread Horde Butcher unblockable, which is like a weird thing that card does. It's cool to see Wolfgang run it because you typically think of Dread Horde Butcher as like a Rakdos aggro card, but it's actually a great 2-for-1 card. Like it just is a very good value card.
Every time I see Dread Horde Butcher just enter the battlefield, I'm like, this card is pretty good here.
Yeah, it's great. Like it's kind of like Arc Trail in that sense, except it scales and actually also like eventually like really does kill people. And there have been games that I play with that card in Grixis style lists like this where like I'll literally just fatal push it after it gets I'll attack and then like fatal push to cast Thud basically, and then just Thud my Dreadhorde Butcher into their face and kill them. And most of the time it's not doing that, but like a lot of the times it's like running into a Thalia. They may block it, they may not. Generally, they don't block it when they have Thalia, and they take 1, and then it goes to a 2/2, and eventually they block it. You kill their Thalia or whatever, and it just card is really a good sleeper card. I don't think this is a hard call. I think it should either be Ancestral if they're running it, or they're running Reanimate. Ooh, okay. Is there like a mana?
They got Reanimate. I don't.
Interesting. I didn't see the bin, so they could have something that draws cards or does something good. Maybe a Plague Engineer's in the bin. No, just a big Hydra. Okay, they're going very aggressive here. I kind of like this. This is cool. This is a good, interesting line. Because, I mean, their opponent's low. So, I mean, they have the Bolt. They have this Butcher. If they're going to go this way, though, I think they just cast the Chain Lightning at face right now. Like, I think you just go for it. The problem's going to be this Hydra, the other Hydra they have in hand is just going to... I think it kills this thing, doesn't it? It's a 4/4.
It has to... You have to pay 6 mana into it for it to kill.
Okay.
Because it either doubles or you can immediately fight and it has +1 toughness.
Well, and they did have access to 6. Wolfgang... All right, well, they have access to 6 again. So it looks like it's probably going to get killed. I mean, this thing becomes a 4 or 5, right? So it actually stays alive, too.
Yeah, it has one more toughness, so you pay 4 mana, it becomes a 4/5, fights the 4/4 on the other side, and then
Mm-hmm. Yep. Pretty rough, but they're going to be at 10, I suppose, which may be relevant.
you're gonna be at 10, but also Wolfgang is now at 9 after he reanimated and vampire tutored, which was 7 damage he dealt to himself.
Yeah, I
that
can
last turn.
appreciate the shot. I mean, I can appreciate taking the shot there, and I mean, like it could go very well. I mean, this could happen. You're not really expecting them to have a ton of removal, and they don't have a ram throughs and stuff like that. Like they don't have the creature size on board. They unfortunately had like pretty much exactly the right card to deal with it. This thing also has trample. Jesus, that thing's massive. But you can blow it up, so you're not dead. Oof. Yeah.
I didn't hate the line they took. I kind of wish that they waited a turn and just arc chill to start with. Like I would have liked the arc chill first and then do it the next turn afterwards.
Yeah, that's an option. Maybe I'm just like not greedy enough. I kind of like just going for the land there and setting up for the turn after. I kind of feel like I'm the control if I'm in Wolfgang's shoes, but they evidently saw an opportunity with the life loss off the canopy lands and went for it. That's a pretty good draw.
So they get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can get a
Questing
6
Beast.
drop.
Yeah, they could. Or they could just get Questing Beast and get him for 5 damage here and put him to 3. I think I would just put them to damage. You could also get Shifting Ceratops and activate it, which is more damage actually. And you
But
can do
Shifting
that.
Ceratops can die.
6.
I mean, they can.
Yeah.
Can as well.
But if they're tapping out to kill it, they're already at 2 because they're tapping their red source more than likely. Maybe it's just to go for the throat. Yep, they're going for a 4. I like a 4 here. It's either Questing Beast or Ceratops. I think Ceratops is probably better because if they like Lando.
Unearth was a draw for turn, which I don't think is good enough. I think that this will probably just.
I'm a little behind. I'm a little behind because I'm watching on stream right now. I'm not watching on Moto, but yeah, I mean, so they did go for the Questing Beast line. I see it now, and then if they got Unearth, they're just dead. There's no getting out of that right now. I mean, I guess they can block for a turn. No, they can't. Questing Beast cannot.
They can't. Questing Beast has more text on it.
Yep, concede. I mean, I guess they don't have to, but they're probably dead. Yep, there we go. I like taking a shot there.
We have hands for next game. They're interesting.
Wolfgang has this is already Wolfgang 6. He's failed to draw a single land in his first 14 cards. So
I'm gonna refresh stream real fast, so hopefully I can have a more updated look at it because I'm not looking at hands yet. I'm looking at the tail end of not the tail end, but the
I don't like Evios's hand, and I don't like his 6 either. So it looks like both players are going to 5.
Okay. Well, if both players are going to 5, at least you still have a game. I think the green deck needs bigger hands generally to do well if it's medium green.
That's how it works. That might be Evios's 4.
If Evios on 4, it's not going to be good. I mean,
I think Wolfgang's also mulling.
Yeah, Wolfgang's on 5, so.
Woof.
I don't think they're keeping this though.
Yeah, I can't see it yet, so I'll see her in a moment and be able to give you some input. I'm watching commercials.
Oh no, Evios on 6. Never mind.
I would keep Wolfgang's 5 there. I would keep that with 1 land.
Okay, never mind. They're both on 5. I lied.
Yeah, my guess would be we see the Wasteland get pitched off. I don't think you should keep Wasteland in a 5. Probably keep Mishra's Forest, Llanowar, and then the card engine.
Is Mishra's Factory better to keep than Wasteland on a 5?
Yeah, I think so because your plan is not to blow up lands with Wasteland on a 5. I don't think. I mean, you could do it if you're expecting your opponent has done the same thing, kept a 1-lander. Which I would keep Wolfgang's hand at 5. I don't think it's better to go to 4. They're not a recall build. They're a demonic tutor build. So you don't have that out. You just need to hit lands there. And you got to turn 1 threat. You got turn 1 removal for a mana dork. Like that's.
I don't like keeping the Runic Armor Sword here.
Yeah, I'd rather keep the Walking Ballista personally, just for long-term equity. I mean, you either do that or you just keep the Tireless Tracker and keep the Wasteland. Keep a 3-lander with a Wasteland. Which I could see that argument too. The Armasaur is probably my least favorite to keep, but they like it, I guess. Maybe what they saw. I mean, it's good against Jace, Friend's Prodigy.
My opinion of Armasaur in this format has been I keep trying to put it in decks I build, and then I'm like, this card, because I like the card, and I'm like, this card just isn't good enough, and it gets cut immediately. It gets cut after a couple games. I'm like,
It's a 2/5. That's his problem at the end of the day. I mean, it's a 2/5. Like, it's just, yeah. This is an aggressive bolt. I think they're probably hoping that their mana screwed. Luckily for Evios, they did draw a land. Now, they have Fetch Delver, which is nice, but Evios did draw the land, so we're going to at least see a game of Magic. It's not going to be, yield, get bolted off my mana dork, not do anything.
Deathrite.
Deathrite's a good
That's
one.
a good card to draw.
Yep. Not a bad one. I mean, this Delver's going to start getting big.
Yeah,
And if we
either
hit
this
land,
Delver's gonna get big, you're gonna draw a land, and hopefully you don't just draw a creature.
yeah, and True Name does keep off. If you draw, I think I would keep land on top here if I were in Wolfgang's shoes because I really want to get this True Name down.
Yeah.
So they flipping. Okay, they're fetching two to get rid of it and find the land. So they got what I think is probably the best situations where they get to flip it off of I don't know what, but something, and hopefully get a shot at a land here.
Ponder. Ponder's pretty good here. Ponder
Ponder's
and then hopefully draw land, then play this Jace afterwards and have True Name back up next turn.
Yeah. The Deathrite Shaman's interesting. They're not going to be able to activate it to stymie this Jace, although they will have the Runic Armasaur, which can stymie Jace. They're obviously going to get 1 mana off of it. That's relevant from the standpoint that they can get a Tireless Tracker down next turn with a land drop after resolving it, if it does resolve. But now you got the clock on you. All right, Lando. Not ideal Lando, but they're getting all these fetches out of the way before Runic Armasaur hits, and their OP gets to draw a bazillion cards off of them. But got some bad news for Jace here.
Flipping Jace is a big enough game that if you get your graveyard to enough cards, maybe you will let your opponent draw the 1 card in order to flip it, but it does mean that you can't loot on the way there.
Yeah, and the problem's going to be one of their lands is going to get eaten from Bin to set up this Tireless Tracker. The good news for them is, I mean, like, look, if they're going to play Jace now, but what my question is if they're going to do this, does their OP go for the Runic Armasaur? They could still exile land to drop graveyard size down to 3, which means the Jace is not flipping next turn, or they could fight this turn.
You could also kill this this Jace or this Insect Apparition.
Yeah, I don't think I would kill Jace with this deck. You have a lot of attackers. You can just attack it to death. Like, actually spending the Hydra on that. I think I would do the
problem with fighting the Insect is it actually is a trade right now. I do not like.
It will kill your Hydra.
I think what I prefer is just getting Tireless Tracker down and getting some value. They're going to flip Jace, but I think that's okay with me. It also dips their graveyard size, so they're not literally flipping it for sure next turn unless they have another fetch or something like that. But I think Runic Armasaur is anemic enough that I'd rather just have the bigger attacker and the card engine on board.
I will leave you to it because I'm gonna go pick up a little bit of food. That's ready now. So
sounds good.
I'll be back soon.
You see the Hydra coming down here.
They are going to trade then.
What it's fighting.
This is the play that I think I would have been least interested in making this turn. I think I wanted to make it next. I would have preferred to make it next turn. They're just going to eat Jace.
They leave the Insect Aberration alive.
Yeah, and they lose some equity off of the Tireless Tracker, in my opinion. I'd rather have the card against this deck. They're both a little low on cards. I think cards are going to matter. But, there's another fetch, which will probably not get popped. And True Name Nemesis is going to be interesting. What's going to be funny about this game is that you're going to want to be attacking with True Name. But it actually gets raced pretty effectively by the board and the cards in hand. And Deathrite Shaman does a good job of mitigating life loss off of it. Given it's 6 power, so that's a significant bit. And the likelihood of finding removal spells is pretty low. They're going to have to basically find player removal for the most part. I mean, they could draw, there's probably a couple fight spells in their deck. Not a ton, but some.
We see the land get drawn from Evios, which makes his tracker look good still up here.
Yeah. And they can actually fire off the clue EOT on their OP's turn to get a secondary card. Obviously, you cannot slam at this point. Or they can gain 2 life if they'd like. I believe there is in Llanowar Elves in the bin. All right, land. Not exactly what you want to see.
There should
You're-
be like. Means you're dead in 2 turns to both of these attacking, but that requires both of them to attack both turns and them not to leave back blockers, in which case they're dead.
Well, you can't block any of this stuff anyway, so I actually like playing the Bayou out and going offensive with Mishra's Factory and just slamming into them.
Yeah.
Bayou gives you an additional 2 damage. You're not dead to the crackback unless they hit burn. I think it limits them. Again, I don't think I would have played out the Underground Sea, though. I think you just hold on to that and, maybe get some equity off of them playing around hidden information. So Bayou, pretty strong. If you had to draw a land, that was probably one of the better ones. So we're taking what, 6? Oh, they're attacking with all? So they want to play
attacking with all. I imagine they're going to play the Runic Armor Store then. I kind of liked, honestly, just playing this land out pre-combat, cracking the clue, getting in for that extra point of damage, and then also Deathrite Chiming this turn.
100%.
That takes them down to 3 life now.
Because this puts you literally dead. You can leave DRS back, and you can actually gain or dome them, which gives you options, right? So if they do have like 2 mana burn. All right, so I think are we dead? I think we're dead. I think we are dead. I mean, this is going to be a big card, but I don't think they have enough blockers. But yeah, if it had been burn, you put yourself in a bad spot here because you're taking 6 down to 1, and if they draw any burn, you lose. You can leave DRS up with a bigger tracker and either gain life or dome them for actually more life. You lose a blocker, but I don't think blockers really matter here because of what their board looks like. So they get the attack step in, and that should be game because they have 4 attackers with the Mishra's Factory, and I guess it's not
They also
game.
draw Skull Clamp here.
Yeah, Clamp's not a bad one, but they're still going to have 2 things that are 2 power. They do have 1 Trampler of note, but the Trampler's not going to matter.
4 creatures. So.
Yeah, but they're at 3, right? So they're actually not.
Yeah, but they only have 2 blockers back, so they can only block 2 of these, and 2 of these get through.
Oh, that's right. They attack with their Delver. Yeah, I don't think you could attack with Delver. That's right. Yep. So they're just dead. Just dead. This again, I think where we're holding the sea kind of comes in because I think they may have played that differently. Actually, they probably would have played it more aggressively, which is worse for you. But yep.
I'm just going to ask a quick question here. I'm sorry to interrupt. So,
yeah, you're fine. What's up?
We had a bit of a case here with a game where one of the players timed out and disconnected. We agree that this is a game loss, correct?
Well, that's Red Mage's call, but yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
this
if
is
they're not
why I'm
trying
asking.
Yes.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the one thing I think that makes sense. All right. Well, what matches do we have next? I'll watch anything.
The only one that is still going is JackyPepper versus Blahguy.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So let's jump in.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Do we know the match score right now? Is it 1-1? I'm assuming split.
I'm asking, but
okay.
JackyPepper is at least down a game. That's
well. This isn't Jackie. This is North Woodman, right? First,
yeah. This is
it's the same person. They are.
Yeah. This is JackyPepper, which is different than JackyThePuppet, who is a different person. And they're both signed up for this event.
That is a bit confusing, but okay, I understand.
They purposely did this to make it as complicated as possible. It's conspiracy theory there.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
JackyPeppers a newer player, and JackyThePuppet's been playing for like a decade plus. Because I remember I played them in 100 card a long time ago. They've been doing the 100 card thing for a while.
It
And like
looks like Luca's on a mold of 5.
yeah. Hey, I look at it this way:
Mm.
you got a 2-2 in play. That ain't nothing, and you got a curve. If you draw a land, you got a curve. That's not a bad 5. Even post Inquisition. I mean, they would have had a 4-3, but Inquisition is Inquisition. They took a damage off Inquisition though. Yeah, there's your land. I would probably just play fetch to play around Oppo if they have Mox, but hey, not a big deal. I've been playing Oppo Agent like the last month, like just playing it in almost every deck I can, with the exception of a couple that I've jammed. But in the serious testing I've done, like I've been playing a lot of Oppo. There's a lot people can do to play around it, but it's a ranching of a card.
We just see a missed land drop and skip of the turn over here. Which, if you kept your 7, which it looks like you did, I do not like that.
Maybe they have Fatal Push. I don't know. That seems greedy. You're not wrong, especially a land that does a lot of damage to you. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to set up for like a sick balance line. I don't know. I mean, they discard their hand, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know, buddy. It's not good. You're taking a big beat here. I don't believe you're dead.
I was going to mention the one game I played against opposition agent. I was playing Cradlehoof, and my opponent cast this, and I was like, read the card, thought about it, conceded, was like, we don't have to play this anymore.
I'm shocked that got you that, because you don't need to like natural order. I mean, did you have a lot of tutor effects in play or in hand?
Yeah, I had a survival in play, and or a fauna shaman in play, and I had a natural order in hand, and I was like, yeah, this game isn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah, where I found it most like, I would say like annoying / cancerous is like just basically in everything, like against everything. But like one of the big things with it, like playing with it over a month, and like being the person playing it, because I really don't like the card, so I want to test it and see if my bias was as bad as like the card actually is. One of the things I found is that a lot of folks do not play around it effectively. They've not learned to play around it yet because they haven't gotten ranged enough by it. But a lot more fetching early. Like it's like Aven Mind Sensor on steroids, play around kind of level. Because if they're playing white and or black, like there's 2 of them now, and the opposite shade is just it's. What's so abusive about it is not the fact that it does what it does. Like if it just exiled the card and did Sadistic Sacrament to it, like that'd be probably just fine. Like it'd still be reasonable. Not great, but reasonable. I mean, but the fact that it completely out-tempos your opponent's entire turn, time walks them, and gives you the best card in their deck that they were going to find is not bad. All right, so we got an Arnhem Renegade unkicked. Well, it's still a Death Toucher. It blocks.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in a different game now.
Yeah, we are. What happened was that Luca was up 1 game. The match was 1-0 for Luca, and then Luca quickly won.
Gotcha.
The second. Oh my god, what's happening?
So it's going to be Control v Aggro Jund. My guess is Jackie on check pile, so they probably have a loam. So if they can
wait, Blahguy, you're playing green. This is not allowed. Hold on. What's
happening? Yeah, can you figure out exactly what's happening with Blahguy? Why did my cursor disappear? Okay, I appear to have gotten my cursor back. Sorry.
Wasn't Blahguy playing green before? I'm confused. Or is that a joke?
He plays Rakdos.
Yeah, he's
been playing Jund. He's been playing Jund today, though, right?
I mean, we haven't seen him today, have we?
Oh,
No,
I thought we did for a tail end of one. I thought I saw part of it. No,
it was Luca.
We saw Luca at the end of last round, I believe.
It could also be that I talked to him one time and they were talking about going into Jund for like Ren and 6 and stuff. And some good cards in green. Quite a few of them.
Okay. The card that got a rule change.
Yeah, card was pretty good. It's pretty good. I've actually I've had the experience of getting to resolve the other half of that in of all decks, Suicide Black off of a Black Lotus. It's pretty good. The other side of it is, especially when you can do it really early, tends to win games. So I've heard.
I resolved the other. I've actually been playing a lot of Standard, and I resolve the other side all the time without paying its mana cost off of Emergent Ultimatum, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and that one should still work. That one's not quite.
You're paying 7 mana, it's fine.
Cascade. Yeah.
Like
paying 7 mana across 3 colors, not bad. What were you saying, Zanti?
It's like paying 7 mana to get 7/7 or 5/7 drops is reasonable. But,
well, it's still pretty good, but I mean, like it's still pretty good. I mean, for Standard, it's a good combo card.
Yeah.
So
You are playing blue, blue, green, 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 black, black. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
what do we have underneath that Valky? Is that a Woodland Bellower? Or what is that card?
That is a
I
mold
think it's
shambler, I
the
believe.
haste dude, right? Haste.
Yeah, the
Oh, it's
juice.
Drag Mangler?
No, it's
Okay.
Morn Willow. Yeah, I mean, it's the other Drag Mangler, right?
Marn Willow. Okay. That one. Another 3/2. That makes things not block. Got it. Alrighty. So they took away the turn 3 play. What is up next? They got removal spell plus 2-drop. That would be ideal. Fetch the
Lightning
base.
bolt's a removal spell.
There's our first thing. The second thing they want to do is play a 2-drop out. That would be their optimal sequence. Although Jackie is on a more controlling deck, so I mean, if they drop a 2 here, Jackie may give him the deluge. I mean, he may want to wait for the Morn Willow, but that's a lot of damage. But they also know their hand. All right, so there's the hand. What do we got?
Scrapheat Scoundrel. That's
Is that a brute force or is that a built to smash? Second to the
built to smash, it looks like.
That is
Alright.
built to smash.
Awesome. So if folks aren't familiar with built to smash, it is brute force, except it can only happen during the attack step. So you can't use it to protect anything.
Well, if you target an attacking creature, it gets an artifact creature, it gets trampled, which is relevant because I expected, for example, Scavenger. You see that the Scavenger is in the graveyard, right? Like that's kind of a big deal.
Yep. No, and
Euro.
the trample is big if you have an artifact creature, but I think that is pretty good right here. Uro is not a bad one. Generally speaking, it's going to be your second brute force, right? Because you want to be able to protect with it too. So Uro is coming back next turn. There are enough cards in the bin, and that's a problematic card, and it does not have to dismember, which is kind of interesting.
It does die to dismember after it blocks something, though.
Yeah, and it'll block, but I mean, you're getting 3 more life off of it. You got a Tarmogoyf in hand. You're getting a free land drop off it. It's pretty good still. I mean, I like trading my opponent, 4 life and a creature card for, 3 life plus a land drop and have a card that still comes back. I feel pretty good about that. That said, their hand is pretty reactive. I mean, they have the Goyf, but the reactive spells are probably not great in this matchup. I mean, they may come in after you resolve your threat and can kind of protect the queen on it, but... And I think you 100% take the block on the Morn Willow, even if they have a burn spell. It seems pretty good to me. Although I suppose built to smash could trade pretty cleanly with it.
I mean, with dismember after they block, generally speaking, they're not going to kill the creature that you're blocking. Because the Euro's going to be a 1/1 after that point.
I actually don't mind this line. I really like this, leaving up counterspell and waiting on Euro. It does shrink your Goyf if you do it the other way. Kind of like it. I mean, this Goyf's going to die regardless because there's 2 spells that can kill it, but that sets up
start with the dismember. Dismember won't work, and then we'll do.
I do not have a Goyf counter. What are we at right now? Are we at 4/5 or a 5/6?
4/5, I believe.
Okay, so it does die directly to dismember, and then they'll be forced to trade a build to smash with it.
It is a 5/6.
5/6. Okay, so it does not die directly to dismember. Although it's still pretty good in combat. Like you could try to go to combat. This is one of the issues with built to smash is like you can't like do it before combat to see if something happens. Like you have to do it there, which I mean is typically when you use brute force anyways. But so they will get this Goyf, but it'll cost them a lot of cards.
Whole hand, it turns out.
Yeah, well, not the Goblin Guy, but the Goblin Guy is not very good against Uro. And then once their hand's depleted to nothing, Uro will take over the game. Just be big wolf. I like that they're fetching for Mountain Swamp here. Jackie's on 4-color check pile, which means that drops equity in like a long-term loam wasteland plan. I don't know if they're also on mine as well, but they may be. Don't know their point spread. Tough turn. Very tough turn. It doesn't really end well for Blahguy any way they do it, but it is one that's a hard thing. You have to think about it. You're not really, there's not exactly a clean, good line. So the evasive action is a convolute here. I'm glad to see more folks are playing evasive action. I've been talking that card up in the Discord. Like that card with the triomes has just gone up so much in equity. A lot of folks historically have kind of called it like a revolutionary rebuff or a quench. And it typically has been, but with the triomes, if you're getting one out on turn 1, Tapped. By turn 2, you have a Convolute, and Convolute's pretty good, especially when it's 2 mana. Mana Leak's a staple in the format, every deck. So
Yeah, I mean, if you can get it consistently to Mana Leak territory, that's fine. I think if
Yep.
you're in 2-color, it gets a little harder because
for sure,
at
you
that
don't play
point
it
you have
two-color,
like
you play it in 3. Yeah, you play it in 3. Like, so, like the thing is, the argument I was making is like, there's great reasons to play 1 color, to play a single color like a monochromatic deck. There's good reasons to play a 2-color deck. There's really not a ton of good reasons to play a 3-color deck at this point. You know, like once you go to 3-color, your mana is so great, you can splash all of these bombastic cards that have been printed in 2019, 2020. Like, you know, like just put Ren and 6 in your deck. It doesn't have to be a lands deck. Ren and 6 is just good, and or Oko, you know, whatever it might be. I was looking at like 4-color Blood, and I'm like, oh, why am I not playing? Why am I not playing more of these cards? Yeah, there's Convolute. Convolute, not a staple in the format, but if it was 2 mana, it'd be good.
what was the Convolute with the Void? There was a Convolute with the Void.
I don't know Convolute with the Void. Is it like a Rise of the Eldrazi card?
No, it's Out of the Gatewatch, I think, but was enough.
Don't know that one. It sounds like one that would exile something or something like that. So I thought Eldrazi. All right, so they do this. I kind of like actually doing this main 1 and then attacking because you can force through more damage and get your Dismember to resolve on the Tarmogoyf. And with the Noble Hierarch play, they're only 1 land off from like protecting. Oh, and they're on Ancestral Visions. Yeah, you want to force the action here. Well, Ren and 6, not a bad one. Not a bad Magic card, as it turns out. Yeah, I think you just make your land drop off this thing. You do lose.
You can make your land drop, and you can play Euro this turn. Although I still like keeping up Counterspell.
Yeah, I wouldn't go for the Uro. I don't think you need to yet. You're 15 life. Your opponent's not really doing anything to you. They're getting in for 1 damage, but hey, who cares about the 1 damage? It's really more about the rest of it. You want to force an unfavorable trade with this Tarmogoyf and then set it up. And Ren and 6 is not a card you want to leave sitting around. Oh, there it is. Spell Shrivel. That's actually one of the ones I was thinking of. That's the Rise of the Eldrazi one. Yep. It is Convolute, pay for it, exiles it. Yep. It's also Devoid. Cannot be Pyroblasted or Red Elemental Blasted.
So we're gonna probably actually see the Built to Smash get cast here to kill this Ren and 6.
Yeah, and you know, I think honestly I would accept that. If I were in Jackie's position, I think I would allow Ren and 6 to go to the bin if it cost them a card. Now, if it doesn't cost them a card, I mean, I'm probably not going to be as keen on it, but I don't think you need to protect Ren and 6 here. I think it's more important to... It's going to build your delve back up, so you can get rid of worse cards out of your bin with Uro. And yeah, I think you're just fine with that. I mean, I think it's the right play from Blahguy's position too, but I think Jackie's just fine with it. I think you just accept it and then leave up your counter spell on the next turn.
We don't see the Built to Smash to get cast here, which...
Interesting, yeah. I don't think Ren and 6 is that threatening right now. It doesn't kill any of your stuff, and like they don't have dangerous lands in the bin. It's kind of just bait. It's just hanging out there to get killed. And I think you're fine with that. Now, when Uro resolves, then we're probably going to see the 1-2 stop attacking.
Oh, Blahguy absolutely meant to kill the Brandon 6. They just click through it.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, I think you do it there, but like, I don't think Jackie's gonna fight it. I think it's gonna be one of those ones where it's like, yep, resolves. Brett Rengo.
We're gonna see if Thoughtseize get cast here.
Yep.
Takes probably the Dismember. I don't see taking this Built to Smash.
You could take it if you really want to protect Ren, I suppose, because still don't want to block this 1-2. But like, if they decide to attack Ren, like and do that, like I really don't care. Like I said, I think the cards that are winning you the game it's not Ren and 6. I mean, I think at this point you're essentially forced into leaving back the 1-2 Death Toucher to trade with Uro, so they cannot continue to get value on it. Although, I mean, at this point they're going to start having a lot of cards in the bin, so they can build back up card velocity pretty quickly. Interestingly enough, they leave Ponder in there, but again, I think they made the same assessment I have, as opposed to like the Scalding Tarn. They made the same assessment that like Ren and 6 is really not essential to their plan, and they'll probably hit another fetch at some point.
I think they left Ponder in there because there's not a sorcery in Blahguy's graveyard.
That's fair. Yeah, for Goyf math.
Yeah.
They're going for the win. Well, I guess what I meant to say is that they, there's a decision process in like because you have Thoughtseize, right? So you can build it back up, and not leaving the Scalding Tarn in there to actually get Ren equity. But like I said, I don't think Ren equity is really that necessary right now. Oh shit, it's a pretty good one. Can't cast it.
I like casting this Thoughtseize though. You have 5 mana still, or you have 3 mana, so you get to cast Thoughtseize and.
Well, I think there's a possibility that they may not want to be locked into having to counter a burn spell, because if their opponent has a burn spell, then they can take them off counter spell. So they they're playing basically to play around the worst case scenario, which I kind of can agree with. Like you don't need to Thoughtseize there.
But what's your thing where you want to play around burn spell killing your Noble Hierarch? I would just tap your Noble Hierarch to play this Euro.
Well,
and then you don't have to do
correct. I mean, they may want blockers here. Just I don't know. I mean, because there's a world in which their OP attacks all, gets 3 in, and then cast a Price of Progress. I guess like it's an argument. You got 12 on board from that. OP's taking a significant chunk, but they fetched in a way that they could be look. They fetched in a way that I think was to play around. All right, they're going to counter this to play around the Wasteland lock with like Ran or Loam. But they also did that very early, so it makes me think in my head, do they have a Pop? Because Pop is one of the cards that could just win from here, even though there's an Uro, a Chit, Tarmogoyf, really good anti-aggro cards. So I can see that concern with wanting the blockers back.
I think Goyf is just going to be blocking this Scrap Heat Scoundrel.
Yep, and I would agree with it. I think that's a good block. So if you take 3, you go down to 14. You're at 12 off of... If they have Burn Spell plus Pop, you could be dead. So, I mean, it probably is worth blocking here to play around the very remote cards that they could have that win them the game here, because it's not a good spot for Blahguy. Oh, they're also at 3 minutes and 54 seconds. Oof. They take, which is probably the higher upside medium play, but I think if I'm in Jacky's spot, I'm playing not to...
Because you're going to be playing and equipping Jit next turn, and then it's like you never have to worry about your life total again.
No, that's right, but that's like playing to the highest median case. I think in the position that Jacky's in, like, you're so far ahead in this game, like, I think you want to play around, like, how do I lose this game? Because you just, it's really hard to lose it. And I think, for me, it's like, I lose to Shock plus Price of Progress if I don't block here.
Yeah. But that's also a good reason why you don't want to cast Thoughtseize there, because they just had Price of Progress and nothing else. Casting that Thoughtseize actually lost you that game before you could gain life.
Sure did. You're right. Or if you want to cast it, you cast it after attack step, But, yeah. I think it was pretty evident they probably didn't, because they all on attack if they have Pop, and just take bad jump blocks, and then use the Built to Smash. We didn't know they had that, did we? No, we did, because I think there was a Valky cast early, so they know Built to Smash.
So I think Built to Smash was drawn after that, but maybe it wasn't.
May have been. I thought they had it for a while, but if who knows if they knew about it or not. But yeah. Alrighty, so do we have any more games, or are we done with the round?
We are done with round 2.
Alright.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let our 10th point crew get through our mid-tournament announcements. In the meantime, I'm gonna get ready to pair the next round.
Alright. You want to boot me out? Is Gosman jumping back in?
I mean, you are...
I'll hang if you guys are cool with me hanging. I mean, I'm watching Magic anyways.
We were talking about that, and I don't know if we arrived at a decision.
I think Gosmit just arrived at a decision that we can do the next round as well.
So, okay, whatever you guys like. I mean, I'm not partial either way. I mean, it's whatever you like to do. I mean, I can hang out. I'm going to hang out and watch Magic anyways, so I can talk.
I've been trying to get them to come to a conclusion for the last good while. Look, if they're not going to take it, I'm going to take it.
I was about to joke around with Red Mage and be like, I'm trying to come to... I was about to be like the end of the sentence. I love you, Red Mage. I'm sorry.
But I think just a quick second before I do let you guys to leave it back to you guys. I think Santi and I have something to say once again. Like Red Mage mentioned, we do have some mid-tournament announcements. So just the fact that if you're interested in what you've been seeing here, if you're interested in learning about Canadian Highlander, talking with people about it, we actually have a Discord for everything Canadian Highlander. It's in the link below. Also, if you're interested in what we're doing here, if you want to learn more about our tournaments, You can find that on our website. And if you want to join one of our tournaments, for example, our next event, which currently has its sign-up page online, then we have one either in the description here of the video if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're watching on Discord, on Twitch, we have our link posted just in chat. And as Andy is always love to point out, if you want to support us, a subscription is a great way to do it. And if you have a Twitch Prime specifically lying around somewhere that you haven't spent on someone quite yet for this month, then we would more than love to have it. And even if you don't want to send it our way, feel free to send it, and please do send it to someone. And with that, I will leave you guys for the next round's time, and I'll just be hanging out in chat.
Oh, okay.
A bit.
All right. You're mono redding? You jumping in the tournament? Like the last hour hero? Yeah. Yeah, no, hopefully the folks that are watching at home, like I haven't been as involved in this because I have general obligations on Sundays that I do not have this week, but this is a great format. So, if you enjoy watching it, it would be cool to support it because I know Red Mage puts a lot of time and effort into it. Even if I give him jokes about his concluding of sentences, he does a hell of a job getting this together. And he's also infinitely smarter than me because he's a particle physicist. But I mean, hey, I can play some cards, But it's really awesome that he does this every week, and glad that we have players down here getting the time to do it. So awesome format. So we set up to go, homie?
Yeah, I was just clarifying. One of our players dropped, so I was just making sure.
Oh, who dropped?
Yeah, Einstein had to drop. I think he has to go.
Oh, unfortunate. Oh,
yeah.
Hope to see you back next week, Einstein.
That, however, does put me in an awkward situation because.
Oh, you got a great situation here. Now, what we just talked about is a dark horse entry of red deck wins via Gosman.
No, we're having.
Smells like opportunity to me. It smells like a scent of cinder. Get him in there.
JackyPepper ended up having to sign. Ended up having to sign without a. Okay, there you go. Oh, they ended up having it by anyway. Great. Good job, software. Okay, no, sorry. It's just that, like, I was trying to get things. Basically, the software is freaking out because a player was registered in a way that didn't work. Like, that was kind of outside of the norm, and it doesn't matter. We're probably going to watch Blahguy versus Brahms, if I had to guess, because they are the top match. Is that accurate?
Blahguy versus Brahms. That's Dredge versus Mono Red.
Okay.
John Aggro.
Or not Mono Red, sorry. John. Sorry. What we just saw.
So that's a top matchup right now? I thought
correct.
Blahguy, did they take a loss to Jackie?
I have to just quickly interrupt here and say that is actually not the number one.
No.
That wouldn't make sense. We just watched a game loss for one of the players.
Oh,
so
let me just quickly check here. I believe if we're looking for our 2-0 players, we're looking at
Jackie and someone else.
Necro and Evios.
Oh, no,
Jackie is 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
Necro, Evios, and JackyThePuppet.
Necro, yeah, and Evios, yeah. So Evios and Necro would be 2-0. No, actually, no. Evios says it's 1-0 on my end.
It says Evios is 2-0 for me.
Because the round two was never reported.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, it is Evios versus Necro, and I'm an idiot. Don't worry about it.
All right, sweet. So let's see some Goblins versus what's Evios on? Are they on green, white, or green, red?
Mono.
Evios is on monogreen.
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw them actually play. Yeah. They went from being blue-red player to a white-green player to a red-green player to medium-green, which is an interesting genesis. Xanty, what do you think of that? They found out that blue-red was just not their cup of tea, and they jumped over to the enemy, bud.
Mono green, like playing big dumb creatures. I don't know if you could tell from my love of Rotting Megasaur. I love big dumb creatures. They're great.
Yeah. See, I have a special place in my heart too for 2 mana black 5 power plus attackers. They're pretty good.
Like, my favorite card from this past set, Kaldheim, is Old Growth Troll. Like, I didn't know anything about this set when it was released. Like, I didn't pay attention to the spoilers. I wasn't that invested. And then it comes out. I do a draft on mine, and I find Old Growth Troll, and I'm like, it was the second pick of the. It was like pack 1, pick 2, and I was like, how was this card not first pick? Like, I kept reading this card, and I was like, this card's absurd.
Because it's
Yeah, it's
impossible
hard.
to actually
that dies
cast.
into a 3-mana 4/4. Like,
Yeah, it's just hard to cast, but I mean, like, look, like that was actually the first card I saw spoiled, previewed from the format, and it was my favorite. My favorite is that's probably my favorite good card from the set. My favorite bad card from the set is the 1/2 Sinbad for Snow. I love that card. I forget its name, but I love that card. It's not good in draft or really in anything, but the card's awesome.
The one that's like scrying sheets, but
yeah,
but
it's
on a
scrying sheets
creature.
for 1 mana, 1 snow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like that card. But the best card in the set for the format is probably Blahguy / whatever the hammer is, or the horn, some sort of horn. It's really good in eggs and other varieties of Storm that run a lot of cheap artifacts.
I've seen people try her in the Legacy Mono-Red Talisman Storm decks. I think that the consensus ended up she's just not worth the 3 mana in that deck, but
yeah, I would not be shocked if it doesn't really see a lot of play in like Real Eternal, but in this format, I think for like eggs and stuff like that, it's pretty good. Like it's a really good draw engine. You know, it kind of just draws in. If you're playing eggs, it draws back into itself. It can almost be like if you have enough mana, if you have Academy out, it's almost
the
like
other card from this format I've also really liked is Blizzard Brawl, the 1-mana fight spell that if you have enough space, snow permanents, it just gets +1/+0 and indestructible, and it's just 1 mana.
I'll be honest, I play a lot of green, but I generally play green as a support color just to cast my idiots, like mana dorks. So I don't play a lot of fight spells. And so one of the issues that my decks will tend to run into is they die to Death and Taxes decks. And I've actually stopped putting as many snows in decks because of that. Now, like, I still run them. If I'm running like Icehide Golem, I'll run them in like red, but I don't even know that you have to run Icehide Golem in red. Like, I do think that Taxes card, the 2/3, the Legend, which is pretty good. I think that card's quite strong, and I think it's a reason to actually start thinking again about playing snows or non-snows. Because for viewers who are not as familiar with the format, for a long while it was just more correct to play snows after the release of Modern Horizons and the induction of some slight snow synergy cards. But you also have some counter arguments, like, Red Mage plays some blue-red. I think Xanthi plays some blue-red. Frostbite's pretty good in like a blue-red deck. Deals with walkers as well, so it gives you some additional options in addition to your like Blitz of the Thunder Raptors and your Flame Slashes and whatnot. Well, I guess for Planeswalkers specifically, it's basically that kind of card, or Magmatic Sinkhole in that deck, or Attack It. Ooh! I have not seen a Sylvan Library in this format in a hot minute, and I kind of like it. What is the non-big?
Watched any of Bailites games?
Yeah, I find it really hard. Maybe it's the kind of decks I build or play with. Like, I don't tend to run. Sylvan Library is a card I love, but like I don't often find a good way to play it. But I don't play a lot of rock or like really controlling non-blue shells. And once you went to blue, like Sylvan becomes kind of slow. Comparative to like card loss you get with other cards, but
although if you are in blue, then you can also play Uro, and Uro with Sylvan Library is combo.
I mean, Uro on its own is just a really good Magic card, but I get why you play it in medium, because like you could just take 8 off of it and it doesn't matter. You're probably not taking 8 in this matchup, but Krenko could get out of hand. Mock start out of Necro here. We got a Krenko, and if Krenko doesn't die right away, it starts making a lot of whoa. So they are on the Kratch shell. They're on the Kratch shell. That's pretty sick. So they get a soldier token here. I believe it has lifelink. Whenever something dies, this thing does Blood Artist.
Yeah, the soldier doesn't have lifelink. It's just vanilla.
Just a 1/1. Okay. Yeah, I know this thing to basically Blood Artist, which is the relevant part of it, and it makes it a little bigger. Definitely get in there. What do you attack? I think I start clocking the Nissa, because any minus on the Nissa, I really want to cost them, because they're probably going to have blockers next turn.
Yeah, I would probably attack the Nissa. Like, the 2 damage here isn't huge either way. Attacking the life total doesn't.
Well, it's kind of big for Nissa, because like
it's not
down tick.
Yeah, it's big on the Nissa. It doesn't really matter for the life total, is what I was trying to say. Like, taking 2 here isn't probably going to win you a game, win you the turn one turn earlier. Most likely.
Probably not. I mean, my guess would be we're going to see some early beats into like basically castle up and just aristocrats them out. Because their creatures are going to get big pretty quick, right? I mean, if they have a 4-drop this turn, I mean, it's probably going to have 4 toughness, probably have 4+ power.
Now,
You know,
if there is a Gem Razor in Evios's hand, you can actually create a plant and then Gem Razor onto the plant.
yeah, you could just to
Um,
blow up that thing. I would actually kind of like that. They want to get damage in. Okay, I can respect that. Also has vigilance, which is kind of nice. Now, you know, what would be the ultimate meme is if Necro was just running Caracas in their deck, and they were like, "Oh, Caracas." That'd be pretty funny.
on basics, I'm playing in this deck.
I do think you attack regardless, depending on what the rest of your hand looks like. If you had nothing going on, I think you attack regardless here just to get the Goblin tokens and really set up this Bastion. I kind of like
You
that.
attack. They block Kranko here.
Yep.
Something's getting cast. Gem
Yep.
Palm Incinerator. Okay, sure. That works as well.
Sick. That's very sick. That's actually really strong. Blow up that thing. Yeah, I think because this is a sick draw. This is a sick draw. It's really good. So
yeah, we just see Evio say, "I'm done with this game. We can move on."
Yep. If they had the removal spell this turn, you're just like, yep, good game. Good game. That's what Gabos wants to have there, and like you're kind of banking on them not having it there. I mean, you kind of have to because you're so far behind. But Gabos does run less removal because I mean, when you're in the Gabos Aristocrats list, you have cards like Bastion of Remembrance. And obviously more threats because your threats are synergistic. So you have less cards like Flame Slash in your deck, or whatever. You have the very best, but not as much depth as a deck like Red Deck Wins would have. This hand, if it had a forest, would be pretty close, but I think you got to pitch this one back and be disciplined. Yeah, it's unfort. Revoker could actually be interesting in this matchup. I wouldn't mind getting rid of the colorless or not the clamp. What do I want to get rid of here? Probably get rid of the I think the elves is what I'm more inclined to get rid of, but because I think Revoker does have some interesting utility against cards like Sharpshooter in the matchup, and then they have a lot of sack outlets. They probably have a bombardment in their deck, cards like that.
Well, the second elf is looking especially good right now.
Yeah, well, when you top deck Gaia's Cradle, yeah, I mean the elf is looking a lot better. Although honestly, it actually puts you in the same spot if you kept the Revoker, right? I guess you get to play the Clamp this turn, in addition.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna see Tarmogoyf, which I'm not a fan of playing the Tarmogoyf now.
I could see playing it and then just clamping it next turn, or clamping one of the dorks after you make mana with your Gaia's Cradle. It's good for mana, and I think you'll probably see them transmute the black producing elf.
This Ward Instigator can actually get in right now.
Yeah.
Oh, Thragtusk, sure.
I mean, they're gonna see some draws here. They don't even have to look with the clamp; they just get it. So that's a big boy. And that's all that Evios wants to see right now is just the big boys out of his deck. He can see absolutely 0 more lands and be very happy.
The sizable lads all day.
Yeah, and like it's funny thing is though against Kratz, Goblin Kratz, I'm sorry, not Tarmogoyf, but Thragtusk really isn't that great. Like it's good here just because it's so early off. It's Gaia's Cradle mana, so I mean that's why it's good here. But like in the long game, the life total like Kratz can go like to like 50 life. You know, I mean it takes him one more turn than it would like Red Deck Wins to get to 20, but Red Deck Wins does not go much beyond 20. You know, that's why like a card like the Tusk is so good against them. But what you have here is card engine plus mana engine, and that's generally good enough for a game win, right? You know, you have generally good. Generally good to have
We've seen 2 games that have really not been that exciting by all accounts.
Yeah. I mean, just basically very, very decisive. But I mean, that's Canlander, right? Like the way I describe Canlander to most folks, I mean, you can do whatever you want in it, but you have, if you play a match set, you have one game that's unwinnable, and you probably just lose if your opponent plays it correctly. You have one game that you can't lose, and even if your opponent plays it 100% correctly, and then you have one game that you have to fight for. You know, like that's because the cards are so powerful. Like when hands don't line up, you get some very decisive games, which is what you're going to probably see here, but maybe not. I mean, this thing's going away. The Goyf will get bigger. They'll get 2 more cards. And I honestly, that's a big boy right there too. That's That's a large lad.
Farmerworth is getting bigger. Although not really. It's just.
Well, I was looking at the hand. The hand has some large boys. It also has a fight spell, which is very relevant, and it has a card that you don't want to play because you have a clamp in play.
Also,
But
if
yeah.
you put a fight spell on a creature with trample, sometimes it also has the mode of like, oh, I attack for 38.
Yeah. Gabos can scale a lot better than red deck wins can. It's just slower, and it's independent card quality is a lot lower. Not saying something because I mean, like red deck wins run shock, so but like Mog War Marshal is not better than shock in my opinion. It's better in the right context, like i.e. you have to build your deck to make it good, which means you run cards like Skull Clamp or like I don't know, like any number of sack on. Let's Goblin Bombardment,
I
etc.
just want to play this Ronos this turn and attack with all my creatures.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's fine. I don't know if you can get a clamp activation out of it. I don't like removing anything with the Primal Might or whatever that card's called. It's the fight spell that makes him huge.
Yeah.
Make things big. Oh, it's a dinosaur. I never even looked at the art. It's Galta's spirit. Did Galta get killed in the Magic lore? Either you two or know the lore?
No.
No.
But Golda's kind of like a dinosaur gold type thing, so you can kind of channel its presence or whatever.
So you're saying, okay, okay. That is Galta. It's not like just some random Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, no, the flavor text name drops Golta. The flavor text is the shaman looked at the world through Galta's eyes and understood that everything else was its prey.
Ah. Except for damnation. You win some, you lose some.
Or like, Doomblade or whatever, but...
Fatal
Push. You got Ronas.
Does not work.
Nope, does not work against that one. What is it, a 14 drop? Is that what it is?
I think it's a 12 drop, but I will.
I think it's a 12, yeah.
I thought it was green 12, but it could be green 10.
If you're willing to do some work and you really want to heal it for 1 mana, Ghastly Demise might be the card for you. Or
if you're choosing to block here, I don't think you're winning. I think you have to just take that. Yeah. I mean, like, you're probably not winning anyways, but I think if you block there, you're definitely...
I think you can block with the Mog War Marshal probably, because it's going to go away anyways, and you're not paying its echo cost. And I guess...
Sure. But yeah, like, trading with the animal, or the creature that has the skull clamp on it, they're animal. I mean, they're kind of just big green animals, but the clamp, it draws a lot of magic cards. I actually lost to Clamp yesterday. I got beat the hell up by it. It was good.
You're attacking with a Goblin Guide, and it drew you. Awesome.
I mean, they're just trying to bluff here. They may have a pump spell too. Who knows? Yeah, they take. That's what they got to do.
Yeah, I mean, they were at 23 live, so I can kind of imagine them being like, yeah, sure.
Hey, I mean, look, maybe they're gonna Goblin Grenade, Ricochet Trap, fork it. I don't know. Like, there may be a line. Hell, Price of Progress isn't like the worst against their board right now. They got a whole bunch of lands. I mean, one of them sacks, but hey. Oh no, it doesn't sack. It just draws. You pay a bazillion. Which you can
it pays a bazillion. You have a 4 power creature on board. Then yes, it draws a card.
Yep. For whatever reason, I thought it was the one that you paid 3 sack it and it gets a random creature back from your bin.
That card has won me games of Magic in the past, thanks to the fact that it could draw cards. I'm not going to pretend that wasn't.
Oh, that one right there? Yeah, no, that's a good card in this deck. That's a really good card in this deck. Are you talking about the one that's on board? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, Bonder's on.
I mean, I wouldn't play it in everything, but in this deck, Cast Your Thought Not Seer, your Reality Smasher, you have huge creatures. So
are they dead? Is this?
I don't know. I'm not. I haven't been watching in earnest because I think they're so battered. But
Paradise Druid can't attack. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean it's still a lot of damage. They're at a point where they
all of Evios's creatures are just so huge.
Yep, they're not small. This is medium green. They are not small ones. Put in that deck. That said, I mean, if they get the more Krat style draw, I think the Krat style draws will tend to, especially in the play next game. Like that's one of the big things. Is like this game, the format can be a little die rolly, depending on the matchup. But this one, I think the die roll is going to matter, or it can, depending on what you get to keep. Alrighty. Well, the good news is we're probably going to get to catch the tail end of some other matches because I depending on what the hands look like here, we're probably going to see some more kind of slopper knocker, just, cast things, kill people things, kind of magic. Which is good. This hand is not a great medium draw. Probably want to ship this one back. Really nothing going on. Tarmogoyf's not phenomenal in this matchup. They're playing mostly creatures. And it's not like you're a deck that trades a lot with cards on the stack or out of hand, so you have to make your trades on board. This is a great hand. This hand is exceptional. I mean, I wouldn't say it's exceptional, but it's very good. It's definitely upper 40%.
It's a little awkward because I guess Prismatic Vista, I was thinking it was a table passage. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, if your Goblin's opponent plays like a turn 1 Lackey and has like an Arc Trail on turn 2, you're going to go to the Shadow Realm, but you keep this. I think this is a very reasonable hand. Well, this is one of the ways that it doesn't go so well. And they have the Mox draws, and they play, Legion Loyalist is not Lackey, so. But they are leaving red up, and they chose to play the Mox, which to me means exactly one thing. They have a shock of some variety. They probably have Tarfire or Lightning Bolt in hand. Be my guess. What do you want to call? I'm going to call Tarfire. I think Lightning Bolt's probably more correct.
We'll be different.
All right. Shock? Okay, I'm going to call Tarfire, but it's probably Lightning Bolt, because that's probably... They might be playing Tarfire.
It's going to be Galvanic Blast, because neither of us named it. No, Lightning Bolt. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably Lightning Bolt. Is that... Okay, that's what it was. Yep. All right, got it. I'm a little behind, like I said. I'm watching on the stream. Which is unfortunate, but they did draw their second land, so they can at least kind of build back up. And it also builds their Goyf up. There's creature instant land in the bin now, which is, you got a 3/4. And Goyf's pretty good against
Romox is a good call
cards
as well. Maybe.
Yeah. I actually don't care for it here. I kind of like just... I mean, you could get down... You could put your Dusk Watch card engine under the thing, but I kind of like this. I like just playing Goyf and saying, hey, 3/4,
I have
go
a
ahead.
3/4. This is big. Deal with
Goyf,
it.
really good against red cards. It can languish against goblins, but it's generally pretty good. Now, if they had like the Goblin Rabble Master draw, they're just kind of like, like it's not quite as good. All right, they have King or Chieftain. So these things have haste and Mountain Walk, and they get bigger.
They're still not big enough at turn.
No, what you can do is pass here, and then when you attack, you get first strike damage off of the Legion, and then you can sack the Crater Maker to kill the Goyf in combat, depending on how they block. Because there's already a creature in bin, which is kind of nice.
So we did draw Gem Razor here, which
is really good to blow up the Mox. Yep, makes the Goyf a 4/5. That is strong.
How does mutate work with characteristic defining abilities, Marco?
Well, if you mutate the creature on top of the creature with a characteristic defining ability, it will no longer have that characteristic defining ability. If you mutate it on the bottom, it will still have the power and toughness of the original creature as defined by the characteristic defining ability, which it retains.
You get to choose, basically. It goes top or bottom, right?
Yeah. Basically, imagine if the characteristic defining ability was just its base power and toughness, and was just part of its base power and toughness.
Yep.
The interesting part is that I believe that it works that if the Goyf goes on the bottom, it just no longer has the characteristic defining ability. It just doesn't have it. Which is...
So, what do you guys think of this line? I actually don't care for this. I wanted to play this the turn after and just get out the Gem Razor and blow up the Mox to make a 4/5 out of my Goyf to block all these first strikers because of Battalion.
I don't like sacrificing your Nissa. I think your Nissa's better than the Duskwatch Recruiter.
Well, I think Duskwatch is going to be better long term. So, I don't know. I kind of just like setting up a little more deliberately.
It is also worth remembering that Duskwatch Recruiter is in fact a human. So as long as it doesn't flip, you cannot mutate the thing on top of it. But then after it mutates, you can mutate the thing on top of it.
Sure.
So I think I'm just blocking the Cradle Maker here.
No, you don't want to do that. You want to block one of the 2/2s because what's going to happen here is they can put 2 on with first strike, and then they can only sack the Crater Maker to do 2, which leaves the Goyf alive. So they just get to eat this thing, essentially, which makes the attack a lot worse once it's a 4/5. That's why the Gem Razor line. Okay, well they have this, so it is going to die. So they have the answer. The first strike damage will take care of it. That's pretty big. And it's also big from the standpoint that it drops Cradle down. But they have the ability to at least they can pop their nurturing peatland and then still draw once with not draw once, but impulse for creatures once. What do we call that effect now? I don't know.
I believe that is an anticipate effect because you only look at 3
only
cards.
3? Okay, I thought it was 4, but yeah,
no,
it
is 3.
I believe you. The card's pretty good with Gaia's Cradle on a bunch of mana, but it's not quite there yet. So they're attacking. Makes sense. Although
not really blocking.
Could be dead. Yeah, they could be dead here. They got a 3/3. If there is a threat, they're probably dead. Because it's going to have haste off the Goblin Chieftain, I believe.
It was actually a mistake to attack here because you're turning it into a 3/3 and you could block a 2/2 now.
Yeah.
Because if they want to throw away their 3/3 for your 3/3, even if, that's fine. Still, even if
I actually don't think you wanted it to flip there. I think you need the cards. If you draw land this next turn, the game is... Okay, that was one of the better draws if it doesn't...
Yeah, Schools is huge.
One of their better draws. There are a few creatures in the bin.
I think you just make this a 5/5 right now.
The thing is, Necro didn't do anything last turn, so they have instant speed removal of some variety, my guess would be. Or they just have 4 and 5 drops in hand, maybe. But... Okay, we're casting this one out. And they're at 6 life with a 6/6. Which is going to make attacking more awkward, but the first strike is pretty big. They do flip this thing back, making it a 2/2, which means it's not a viable blocker anymore.
It can jump.
Could jump, yeah, but yeah.
It blocks with Reclamation Sage one of these 2/2s.
Yep. Can do that.
I'm blocking one of the... I'm probably double blocking...
All right, we got lethal. So the reason they're attacking here, put them to 2. Well, it depends on how they block, but if they even get any damage in, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to double burn. I mean, they didn't do anything last turn over the whole turn cycle, so I think they probably did the math and they've got it. Or they literally have double burn spell for Ooze. Yeah. But if you can close here, you close here.
Evios reads it. He blocks everything.
Yep, makes sense. But it's trample as well, so you're taking 2 off of the Crater Maker.
But you go to 4.
Yep, so that's still 4, which my guess would be, 4.
One bolt is not enough.
Maker, what? I guess...
Well, yeah, there's 2 damage on that, so what do we have? Land, and what is the next line? That gives 2 more life and an 8/8 to their OP if they're not closing this turn. So they did draw land for the turn. I'm having a hard time reading what they have in hand, because it feels like it should be an auto slam. All right, they're just going to kill the Ooze. Okay, so they had another
3 for 1 themselves to heal the Ooze.
Tarfire? We got Tarfire? Let's see the Tarfire. Oh, Forkbolt, okay. All right.
Forkbolt is good because it also sends 1 up.
All right, well, we got a blocker.
Yeah.
We can just randomly pump up twice, and it's a 1/2, so that's pretty good once the battalion's turned off.
It's going to be 1/4 soon. Not too far away.
Yeah. I think
hey, Goblin Recruiter.
Oh, well, that's probably a game.
That's a card.
They're at 4 mana, so they can't just straight Muxus and win. Like, Muxus is a game win if you're at 6. But my guess would be they can probably set up a Skirk Prospector off of a Ringleader hit and get the win on the turn.
This thing Evios' best chance to win. Necro could time out trying to stack the top of her library with a billion cards.
True. But they're at 17 minutes and we're in game 3, so I don't think that's going to happen. It might. I mean, it might happen. I mean, Evios is actually down on clock.
Wait, this is already game 3? I thought Evios was up a game.
No, Necro won the first game with that very quick start.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, no, they had the removal spell and they attacked for a bazillion and had a 3 counter Krenko or something. It was not looking good.
There was a questing beast that died to Gem Palm Incinerator. There was the
Yep.
There was the Bastion that just made everything that died deal damage.
Gem Palm is one of those cards that I just love so much because it actually allows you to play Slay in your deck. I love Slay a lot, but you can't play Slay in decks because it only does it to green creatures.
The Gem Palm that I play more often is the zombie one. Because I have a really bad zombie popper deck that plays 4 of those.
But I thought that one only did face. I thought it was a drain
Yeah,
life.
it only does face, but
Yeah, but when you get a grotto going with that card, it's polluter, gem palm polluter.
Jump on polluter, yeah.
Yeah. There's a sleigh. I actually have a zombie. I'd call it zombie tribal Kratz kind of deck. It's more mid-rangey. It has some Kratz energies, but yeah, there's the gem palm polluter. You just drain people out, and you just
You
use your
also get to play in
Unholy
that
Grotto.
great topper deck, Shepherd of Rot, which deals damage equal to the number of zombies you control to both players.
to everyone. Yep. To everyone. I don't play that one in the Highlander build I've got because it's just too much damage. But I do like that card. One of the cool things about Zombos in this format is that's actually not a bad one, depending on what they hit off of it. But it's probably not going to win them the game.
+1 from counter was the hit.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. I mean, because they're going to hit next turn. We're going to see Ringleader, and Ringleader's going to get Skirk Prospector, and then they're going to hit Muxus the turn after and just go off.
No, they just hit Prospector?
I mean, there's also a good chance that Necro doesn't own Muxus.
Oh, possible. But I mean, if you're getting
this card is $1 billion.
Oh, she had Muxus in hand.
Oh, okay. Muxus is in hand. Okay, so that was their last card. Makes sense. And you resolve it here and win the game.
Yeah.
Ringlad.
So War Chief in there, and like probably, I don't know, a Krenko, Mob Boss. It's just game. Muxus, hell of a card. I actually built a Storm deck around this card. Goblin Storm. Okay, they just pack it in. They don't want to see it. Let's see it. Cool game. Like I do think that oftentimes folks will think the green deck has the better of it. Goblin Kratz got a lot of play to it. A lot of cool stuff going on. Congrats to Necro. Good to see it. We got anyone still going? Jackie's probably still going, They're still tapping their Loa.
Wolfgang versus Bailite, Blahguy versus Brahms. Jackie, I believe, is actually done.
Oh, okay, they called it quits. Or they're
Luca won. Yeah, Luca's playing Aggro, so they probably did so
just
pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's fast starts and killed them.
Yeah.
I'm cool. Whatever you guys want to do.
I'm gonna put up Bailite versus Wolfgang because I think that's interesting, and also because it's a higher ranked.
Sure thing. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Is Bailite still on the Mox build?
I believe so.
Okay.
Mox Tainted Pact, I think, is the...
Okay. I know they've changed points a lot. I know at some points they ran Mind Twist and stuff like that, but I was just curious.
I think that was before Tainted Pact was points.
Could have been. Yeah. At one point they didn't run Moxen. I know that. They were running like, I think a Strip Mine or something, maybe, a long time ago. I'm thinking, but maybe not. Maybe I'm off on that. Maybe it's always been a Moxen deck. I thought they went to Moxen when they started getting beat up by Aggro, and then they converted over to Moxen because Aggro was pretty quick and they were struggling with it. There's a lot of red decks in the form. There used to be. There's a tragic slip inside the chat right now. It's pretty cool. What a cool card.
Yeah, we were talking about 1 mana ways to kill a Galta. Well, that does it.
Oh, a Galta? Oh, okay. I mean, you could just use Innocent Blood. That's an underplayed card in the format, in my opinion. Mono black control.
I've played so many Innocent Bloods in Pauper.
I mean, given if Galta's being resolved, it's probably not going to be Innocent Blooded because they probably have a lot of creatures in play. But
maybe you have I don't know, disfigure their elf and then.
No, what you can do is you can Toxic Deluge all their small idiots that made the Galta castable, and then you can just Innocent Blood the Galta. It's 4 mana.
There you go.
I mean, you can also play Damnation, but
Yeah, but that's boring.
Yeah, it's also really slow. It's really slow for the format. Also really slow. No, I think that was done at Necro's request, Gosmit. I'm sure we misspelled it, unless maybe they actually deliberately submitted their deck like that. I don't know.
No,
Red Mage.
No.
You had Goblins. Goblins was the name of the deck.
I am aware. I brought it, and then I brought it by accident, and then I was like, this is funnier, and so I kept it.
Oh, I thought it was like a name they'd submitted. I'm like, that's cool. I don't know what that means, but it's cool. I mean, Goblins would misspell their own name.
Yeah, exactly. I figured that it was in keeping with the spirit of Goblinry.
They're certainly taking the day, though. They're doing very well today. It looks like So you said Jackie lost, so Necro's undefeated. Are we doing 4 rounds, or is it 3 rounds?
We're doing 4.
4? Okay. So there is one more round. But I think Necro is going to be your only undefeated player, right? So it'd be Necro Blahguy, or whoever was playing Jackie last. Oogie. So what do we have going on? 6 to 2 cards. Cling. Okay. Bailite does not look like he's in a very... it's an interesting position, for sure. So you gain 4, but you take 6 on the backswing, which forces you into gaining life off of the Deathrite Shaman. If your OP opts to take the damage, you have to attack here, right? Like, this is a forced attack at 2. Because if they don't attack with the Awoken Horde, you get 3 for 6 unblockable, but they have 6 cards. So, I mean, I can't see their cards yet. It may...
I mean, you could also gain life with a death rate as well.
Yeah, that doesn't matter against 6 power, though, right? You go to 4. So unless you have removal, like, it's a forced attack. So this tells me it's probably a forced attack, and I would take the block here on the Awoken Horde. I don't think it's... I mean, I guess you could leave it. I think you take the block, though, because you don't want to give them a free card, but that's just me. Or I guess you could stifle their whatever they target with it with the Cling. So they do not have removal, but they have blockers. So...
I think there is a Knight of Autumn in Bailite's hand.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do they target? Because I'm assuming it's getting clung to the dust.
I have not liked Nisa of Shadowed Bows. That card has really failed to impress me.
I haven't played with it. I don't know. I mean, Bailite tends to run some ones that are weirder, you know? Like, but I mean, like, I think it's generally for the name of, like, grinding as much value as possible, which is probably, like, as a consequence of what they've seen in the meta. And I can also appreciate just testing cards out. You know, it's not that old of a card, so, you know. I don't really know. I haven't played with it. It's automatically looking at it, I agree with you. It's not something that, like, you know, piques my interest right away as being, like, a good Highlander card, but...
It's not even a good standard card.
Okay. Yeah, I believe you. So they have Finks plus this. Or they could just slam a big F off Batter Skull, which makes it pretty tough, but I guess they die if they do that, because they're at 6 and they'd be tapped out. So probably Finks. I'd play Finks here and try to save equity on the Knight. Finks 10 plus
Finks, you go to 8. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're taking 6 that is unblockable, and you know you don't have a removal spell, and your opponent can pretty much safely assume you don't have a removal spell because you don't attack there if you have the removal spell. That's what I was kind of saying is, like, if they attack, you know they don't have it, and if they don't, you know they do have it, and the Woken Horde is just dead anyways. Okay. So any burn spell off the top is a game win. I guess we'll see
How
what
about
happens.
Op Agent?
Oppo Agent is not, but you could definitely get the Fauna Shaman in their hand. You could also downtick the Liliana of the... Well, wait, let's see if there's a cool line you can do here. You could downtick the Lily and see what you get. I don't know what their bin looks like. If they have a Snapcaster in there, maybe that's relevant.
Graveyards, Marco. Wolfgangs.
Yeah. It might matter.
So I think we see Wolfgang accidentally clicking through attacks before he can activate Creeping Tar Pit.
They may just not do it this turn because it's not lethal. And they may want to use their mana to leave up Oppo Agent and Jace, because Jace next turn allows you to Demonic Tutor, which probably allows you to get something that just murders your opponent. It also lets you leave up Cling to Dust so that you can blank the sword. Although now you're probably regretting not blocking with the Awoken Horde last turn. Probably better just to trade with it. So they're going to get the attack in, and they can Cling to Dust the Finks. Okay. So that stops some of the life gain. They can leave the... I don't mind this. This is actually a pretty decent medium play.
You can block the other guy as well, the Aetherborn, and then it doesn't do anything with the true name.
Yeah, so I think... Yeah, well, you're correct. That's what I got you. So they want to blank the Finks here so that there's 2 less life gain. And the problem with that is going to be there's still a Death Right. And then you could play Jace and look to set up Demonic Tutor next turn, possibly for like a Fire Covenant if they're on that, and sweep the board. I guess Fire Covenant doesn't do it against the sword, but... So Bailite's looking for a lethal line. I actually like considering not blocking here, although I think it is some high adventure. I mean, if your OP has any bolt, you just die. Like a chain lightning or a bolt. It's just done so, but
Well, no blocks were declared.
yeah, I can get behind that. That's some high venture stuff, but
Living on the edge.
yeah, I mean, I can respect the play because I mean, like they may be looking at it saying this is my best play to win the game. You know, it leaves me with more attackers. Unfortunately, the Deathrite Shaman is going to have to exile stuff in your bin because they can cling to dust at instant speed and just get rid of the card that you're going to try to exile with the Deathrite. So you just get a Jace down here and pass, I think.
They're tapping a lot of mana.
They're probably what are they doing here? Do they have a card I don't see in hand?
Clinging now?
It's an awkward time. So they're looking for a burn spell. They're like, I think Wolfgang's playing this too aggressively, but we'll see. Maybe they're playing to draw a bolt now. That's really aggressive. I don't think.
I
It's
don't
worth it.
like this line because then Deathrite can exile your Cling.
Yeah. You just wait on Cling until their turn, their end of turn. Okay, so they're getting a Peat land, drawing a card. They can leave
Now
up the
I also don't. We'll see. I don't like this land being drawn because it incentivizes them to hold up opposition agent, and I don't think that's good. I think you just want to play the Jace this turn.
Well, the problem with the Jace is it gets bounced by Caracas, which is currently open, and it also gets
That's
blanked
fair.
by Deathrite Shaman. Deathrite Shaman's not gaining life if it's exiling your Demonic Tutor, but you know, and I think it probably they could just slam a big F off Batter Skull this turn. The problem with that is I think they have to do Night again. I think they have to do Night of Autumn and go up 4. So they're trying to set up a race line. They actually have 3 more life gain off the Prince in their hand, Charming Prince. Or they could just blink one of these creatures and gain 4 more off Night of Autumn. They could turn it into a blink effect.
Play not Night of Autumn and blink your Kitchen Finks.
Yeah. Well, you could blink Finks. I mean, you could just. What do you leave the mana up for? I don't know why you'd leave up the mana there. I don't think it serves you. I think you just probably resolve. I mean, I guess you could play the Elf and try to set up for like a Vivian or Nissa or whatever that card is on the next turn. But all right, so we see the obvious block here. Take 1 down to 9. Oh, they attacked Lily. Okay. I think I'd be looking to go to face here because you have a lot of life gain, so you can kind of actually like set up a racing situation that your opponent's not going to have good math on. But I don't think you're killing the Lily anytime soon. But I could also just see play the Night Out here and then exile the Cling just to do the 2 damage.
I do like just Deathrighting the Cling now and saying, look, you tapped this. Or you used your mana. You made this mistake.
Yeah, I do too. And they're 10. Like they're not that far off from dead, and you have a lot of life gain. You can actually race them. And I actually don't mind racing against them here. I think you have a fairly decent shot of doing it. But they opted to scry, and now they are dead? Huh?
No, they exiled their Kitchen Finks. Their Kitchen Finks is coming back.
Yeah, but you're dead to the Creeping Tar Pit plus the True Name Nemesis, right? You had to gain more than that. Okay, so yeah, it was just a bad play. Okay. Got it. So you fire up the Creeping Tar Pit attack for 6, game. Yeah, I think there were some. I think you had to do the Knight plus Blinket with the Charming Prince. Or you could just a Knight. Knight goes up 4, so you'd be at 7. Knight would be good enough. I mean, you would have died to this fairy, but I think going to 7 would have been good enough. Okay, well, good games to both players. Yeah. Oh, sick. Necropotence is on their second undefeated week. Awesome.
He went 4-0 last week. And
awesome. With Gabos,
3-0 right now this week. So we'll see if someone's able to stop her or not.
Nice. Oh, I see, Luca. The victory is conditional upon your Ana. Oh, very noble. No, their deck looked pretty sick. Looked pretty sick. Gabos is cool. So are we seeing Gabos? Oh, this looks good. Let's just watch this crunch. This is not gonna be a good game of Magic, but this crunch is just great.
This match is not gonna last long.
Berserk, hold up, Berserk. Do it. Oh, they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the Berserk. All right, good deal. Old shot. I don't want to be dead. I want to be really dead.
This is not sufficiently dead. I would like to be additionally dead.
Maybe at least it kills the rotting
22 damage.
At least it kills the rotting Regisaur off, and that's something. You get the moral victory of having half their board die at the end, or 2/3 of their board die, and they only have a 2/2 left.
Look,
But
I may be dead, but you're only going to have 2 power on board after I'm dead.
yeah, that Berserk is good.
I think
The
that was the match, actually.
All right,
Yeah.
so we got a round 4, I suppose, or do we have anything else?
That's correct. We're waiting for the last couple of people to report. Specifically, actually, Blahguy already has a report. There you go. Fair round. And this time, we do no longer have any issues whatsoever, so we can just go watch Necro versus Wolfgang Cloud and see where that leads us.
Will be a good one. Like Goblins, the more Aristocrats builds can be tougher for the mid-range decks. The mid-range decks do have a lot of good removal, so if they have it line up well with the creatures that their opponent's playing, be quite good. But I mean, when you're looking at like Mog, War Marshals, and like cards that make tokens, Army in a Can style cards with ETBs, it can be challenging because your removal is templated in a way to like get 2-for-1s, and if you're not grinding those 2-for-1s, the Grixis deck can tend to fall apart. That said, it also is built to kill people. The Grixis deck is, so I mean, it's going to have significant threats like Gurmag Angler and whatnot. But it should be a very interesting matchup. I think for Necropotence, they're going to want their more grindy aristocrat style hands as opposed to like their Goblin Guide beat face kind of hands. And then for for Wolfgang, I think one of the important things for the Grixis builds is that you have a way to close. You don't want it to be all removal and counter spells. You want to have like some of that, but you probably want to have 1 to 2 closers that are just higher independent quality threats that you can remove the important pieces, and then the lesser pieces trade very favorably with your board presence, or just have to chump it. So it's an interesting matchup for sure. If I had to guess, I would say Grixis is slightly favored, but not highly. But these black-red Gobos list, or like I think the Jund builds are probably a little better, but yeah, they're very.
Hand.
No, that hand's garbage. Liliana the Veil, not a good card in this matchup, and there is nothing to do in that hand outside of cycling a Catcher Triumph on 3. So you probably pitch that one back. I'm not really sure if I'm a fan of the Mystic Confluence. I feel like mana is good enough nowadays that you don't need to run it in your 3-color decks, but I guess if they're on the 4th for like Ren, maybe, but even then, I feel like the mana is so good you don't have to do that to yourself. You don't have to take the damage. But yeah, that hand does none of the above. It does not threaten. It doesn't cast a spell until turn 3, so you definitely pitch that one back. And that's going to be good news for their splash. Yeah, and I splash green for Oko and Abrupt Decay and Tarmogoyf and quite a few green cards, but you don't need to run Mystic Confluence in my opinion. Or not Mystic Confluence, Mana Confluence.
Mana Confluence. I was about to say, what do you have against Mystic Confluence? That card's dope.
I actually don't run that a lot anymore. It's too slow, man. It's too slow. Like
That's
it's
a
good.
lot.
Too hard to get 4 islands in play.
What I end up finding I do with Mystic, well, not Mystic Sanctuary. Mystic Sanctuary I play. It's only 3 islands, but Mystic Confluence is the 5 mana spell. It's the double blue 3, draw 3, bounce 3, and counter mana leak 3 buy. But you can choose any mode, any one mode.
It's the one that does everything.
Yeah. The problem I always have with it though is like if I have it by turn 5 and like I haven't countered their stuff, I'm just drawing 3 with it. It's a Jace's Ingenuity a lot of the times. It can do more, but like 5 mana is so much. It's just like I feel like I'm generally dead before then. If I need the bounce, I don't feel like it's saving me. Or I'm bouncing EOT because I need to counter their stuff that's going to resolve, and it's like I have to take the damage on turn 5 anyways. It's just the card's always been kind of like awkward. It's grown to be awkward. I really liked it like 3 or 4 years ago, but like now it's just like I don't know. Like Cryptic Command, right? Cryptic Command is another one of those cards where like I still really like it, but I have to be really a controlling blue deck that has like Terminus in it or like cheap red sweepers.
I mean,
Or
the reality of it is that in order to make Cryptic Command good, I think we would need more Force of Wills. Like
well,
that
Cryptic
is
Command
like
is still good in that kind of deck. It's okay, but like where I think Cryptic Command shines the most is in a deck that wants to tap down use it as a Wrath. It's a Wrath of God. Like you tap down your opponent's stuff on a turn, screw up their combat math, then attack them for lethal on the next turn. I think it's really big that way. I think the best Cryptic Command decks are decks that run 1 to 2 4-drops and are attacking a bunch. I don't like it as much in control anymore. So because of that reason, right? I mean, it's just too expensive. It's like Dismiss. Dismiss is not a played Magic card anymore. Maybe in 2010, but that mode of Cryptic Command, which is generally what Control is going to use it for, is like it's like okay, well, why am I not running Dismiss? If I'm not tapping stuff. Now the bounce option comes up in Control too. Sometimes you bounce walkers, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the bounce option I found is really good. The bounce option is how you beat like a Staff of Neen or some garbage that's like it needs to not be on the battlefield anymore, but you can't kill it, and it has resolved.
Sure.
And,
one of my favorite cryptics is against Academy. You bounce their Academy in response to their time spiral, and don't counter it. Just just get rid of their Academy. I mean, then they redraw it, and you just lose. But you can do some funny stuff with it, like draw 7s and stuff like that. Generally, you countering draw 7s on decks that run Cryptic Command, but
the good old bouncing a Liliana of the Veil in response to its trigger.
Yep. That's modern tech, but yeah, I mean it has come up. I've had Liliana's Plus come up that way a couple times, like Brazen Borrower. Generally, it was Brazen Borrower was my last card, and they uptick their Liliana to get my last card. And I just bounced their Liliana back to hand. It was their last card, and their Liliana was gone. They're trying to ultimate it or something. So this is the kind of threat that Necro wants. Like this threat does not look good in this match. It doesn't look good. Period. I mean, they're gonna want to save it too. But the thing that this threat does is it's 2 power and it's hard as hell to remove.
Well, this Jace blocks.
I do not think Necro will pay mana to save it, though. I think
I would. I mean, it depends on the rest of your draw, but you don't look. You can force the aggro lines here, but you're playing against Grixis, and if they have like the T-Del, you probably just lose. I think I'd pay it here and just like hang out with it. I mean, it's not great versus JVP, but they're gonna let it go. I mean, it depends on what your 3 is too. If you have a good 3, I can see it, but I really like getting value off it here, like forcing the exchange on it.
Goblin Sharpshooter.
Yeah, and that one's reasonable. That's a reasonable card. It's going to be good to kill in this matchup. It's not going to generally kill a ton of creatures. The trade-offs aren't going to be that great.
So is there a reason not to attack with this goblin? I understand you just get blocked, but
no, you probably just hang out. I mean, you
could like also do like attacking before you play this goblin sharpshooter, and then that's probably fine.
Yeah.
Ooh, I do like a chain lightning here.
Is that what they drew? I thought they drew Drown in the Lock. Okay, I see it.
No, the chain lightning off of the Jace.
Now, see, I actually
Drown for the turn.
I kind of like pitching Oppo Agent and keeping Delver.
Yes, I mean, Delver is really awkward against the Sharpshooter, but I'm assuming the Sharpshooter bites dust pretty soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind just playing Delver and Chain Lightning this turn, because Chain Lightning is going to get worse with time as they start.
I wouldn't hate playing Brainstorm this turn to try to hit your land.
I want to wait on it. I think I want to wait one more turn.
You're already missing your land drop this turn, which is a little off.
I would because I have the spare mana. Like if I was going to not cast the Brainstorm, I would have probably fired off the Terminate because it's less mana efficient.
So why leave up the Brainstorm now for EOT? That's really weird to me. If you're gonna do Brainstorm, I would keep Delver and just ditch the Oppo Agent there though and play Delver.
This is a
Sparksmith.
Yeah, Sparksmith is going to deal with the Jace. I mean, they're going to kill it probably. I really don't like leaving Brainstorm here for Brainstorm here for EOT. That's
if you were leaving up Brainstorm, you should have done it on your main phase, or you should have kept something else.
Exactly, because you get your third land.
And now you're getting massively punished because you missed your land drop.
Yep, and there's a bunch of lands. I mean,
and one of them is a fetch land, so you would throw one away. This Oppo Agent needs to go. This Oppo Agent needs to be the bottom of the two
No,
cards.
I'd keep it. I mean, you need a threat. You need to kill him, man. Like, you can't just get... You're not playing control here. You're playing mid-range. So, like, that's why I really liked getting rid of the Oppo Agent earlier as opposed to the Delver and keeping the Delver because it's a more mana-efficient play, and it flies, which is really relevant against a vertically expanded board like this that you're not going to attack through on the ground against.
They
'cause you're
play
gonna
3,000 shocks, though. Like, if you spend 3 mana... And they answer it for 1 mana. That's a disaster in a matchup like
All right,
this.
so we're saying the same thing again. Like now we're saying the same thing. What I was saying is the Oppo Agent should have been put in the bin over the Delver. The Delver is a cheaper line of play and it allows you to leave up a counter spell, and it attacks for the same amount if you flip it off of your Brainstorm, for instance, later on. So like I 100% think that like the Oppo Agent should be in the bin, and I mean I guess it stymies cards like Recruiter. But, like, Recruiter would be a disaster against an Oppo Agent, which, I mean, that'd be hilarious to see, but it's probably not going to come up. It's very low prob to come up.
You can exile all of the goblins. That is so good.
Yeah. You make their deck lands and burn spells,
like,
I guess.
A couple of shocks randomly. I really want to see that now.
Yeah, that makes a 1/1 soldier, right? Like,
see, like, now you're kind of boxed into keeping the Oppo Agent because you need this threat. Yeah, you need a threat. And this is why you keep the Delver over the Oppo Agent. Ugh, it's killing me right now. And this, again, like, so, like, Flame Slash, one of those cards you have to play is a concession to, like, the card quality nowadays. Like, you have Brimazes and, like, that's old card. But, I mean, like, a bunch of, like, 3 and 4 toughness stuff that, like, a lot of 1-mana removal, like, 4 doesn't deal with. Questing Beast, sure. Like, all these cards that have a lot of toughness that it's hard to trade for with red cards. But it's not good in this matchup. Like, you really hate having to see a Flame Slash here. Because they got 4 1/1s in play.
A bunch of
like,
your
I
opponents'
would have
idiots
cast the
make
Flame
more
Slash that
idiots.
turn just to remove one of these 1/1s. They have 1 card in hand, and I have a scared. Need to save the damage. I'm at 12 life. Like,
yeah, they probably have nothing in hand. I mean, at a minimum, this turn. I mean, we're gonna see what they do. Do you think they go to face? Or do you think they try to tackle Jace?
I think face.
Yeah, Jace is pretty good though. Jace is a Brainstorm with a fetch in play, which is pretty good. I think I'd want them to kill their Jace to do that.
Oppo Agent is gonna eat the 1/1.
Yeah, and this is where you get a little bit punished playing your land main one. Like, I don't think I would have played out the Sulfur Springs here. I mean, you obviously play your Haste Critter, but if you're holding it, maybe they don't jam. Or maybe they don't jam the Oppo Agent. They're gonna jam it because that's all they can do.
I think they have to jam it. You can't just
like,
let this 4 mana go unused.
Yeah. But the big reason I don't like the Jace, not attacking Jace here, is because if you put it to 2, you get rid of it. The Brainstorm's going to be big here, because I think there is, like...
No, they're fetching now.
Okay. Yeah, 90% of worlds, I like saving that fetch, targeting Brainstorm, and going to town and get rid of some of the Dirt Guzzlers. You know? Like, Flame Slash seems horrible, but, I mean... And I like to have that in my deck as a cycler. At this point, Daze not looking great against Goblins on 6 mana.
Well, so what Daze does is it lets you pick back up the Triumph, which in turn means then you can then cycle the Triumph to get a fresh draw after having spent approximately 38 mana.
Let me ask you a blue mage question. Would you rather have a Brainstorm with a fetch or a Daze that can bring back your triple mana cycling?
I have never fetched a turn.
Okay. All right.
I still liked casting that Flame Slash there. I don't think this card's getting any better. And if you're not planning on brainstorming, then
I like saving it to pitch the Brainstorm, but I was wrong.
I do not. I play like a position agent that does not exist. Like in that scenario, I keep my fetches in play for the entirety of the game, unless I actually know that my opponent has opposition is in my deck. Then I fetch early.
I wouldn't have fetched there anyways. I mean, you just have too much equity in Brain. If I didn't have a Brainstorm, sure. I mean, you want to play around Oppo, but it's so far in the game that like
but
they're on 0 cards.
Draw Brainstorm.
You got to get rid of your dirt cards. Like Daze and this other card are just dirt. I mean, I guess.
Like, even if I don't have a Brainstorm in my bean, like, or I wait to have Brainstorm, like, I'm just keeping the fetch around because I might draw Brainstorm. Like, it's such a high equity play if you get to do it.
All right, Brainstorm now. Just please Brainstorm. Oh,
they minus on Brainstorm, so I imagine. Mana Leak, Abrade, Reanimate. Does Reanimate anything good?
Gets back a Delver. And you can
you can get back a Mog War Marshal to block all these 1/1s.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I kind of want to start killing him though, but I mean, yeah, I could do that. You could also just put a land and a daze or whatever on top, reanimate your Delver, and draw daze next turn, flip Delver, and burn off one of these idiots with your
I
Flame
would
Slash.
actually have kept the daze in my hand and not Flame Slash because you're not playing this Flame Slash. And if they draw Muxus off the top, I want to counter it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, look, like,
You can mana leak it, but yeah,
but you're not going to mana leak like 95% of stuff in their deck at this point. I mean, like, they have some 4-drops, I guess. So maybe,
yeah, the mana leak can counter 4-drops.
You leave it up anyways because you can leave a braid up at the same time. So I mean, like, yeah, I mean, they're gonna cast Muxus main 1 because there's so much high equity in like casting it main 1 if you hit one of the haste goblins. But
yeah, but like Moxus is the only thing that Daze counters, whereas there's like I don't know, Sling and
true.
Gluten.
No, but like, what are you doing with
Not
this
true.
Flame Slash if you're not casting it right now? You're not casting this Flame Slash now. You're holding up a braid. So like, what card's better to leave in your hand? Flame Slash or Daze?
Daze
That's
is
true.
possibly a bit better, even though you're tapped down to put the Zagoth back in hand and cycle it into a better card to get rid of the land on top of your deck. But I think either way, it's pretty low equity. I mean, I think the question is now, how do you sequence this turn? I like reanimating. I don't like reanimating the defensive play and getting back the Mog. I like going for win here. All right, they're going to get this.
He reanimated
is
the Fanari whole Firebrand, which is possibly
I
even
think they
weirder.
didn't want to reanimate a 2-drop.
Yeah, they just wanted to spend 1 life.
Yeah, honestly,
I don't know how much different 4 is. I guess it gives them 1 more fetch, but their Brainstorm's gone. I guess for Jace the Mind Sculptor, it gives you some equity to fetch. I don't tend to
They're
plan around
taking only
4.
1 damage here because they get to block with the Firebrand and kill the other thing with the Firebrand, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
They take no damage actually.
yeah, they take 0 because they can just sack the Firebrand, or they can just abrade one of the 1/1s, which is sensible because it's going to go to main 2, and if they resolve a Muxus, then you can just Flame Slash it on your turn. But you're probably dying to all the goblins it gets. But I think in general they're going to play a Muxus out main 1, so they pass it.
I think that Wolfgang is actually managed to slog through all of the stupid 1/1 goblins that Necro had. I think Wolfgang is actually ahead now.
This game's not over. It's not over at all.
It's not over, but I think the advantage but is in Wolfgang's. This is Wolfgang's
very slight. Very slight. I mean, like, a lot of the cards they're going to cast here cannot be countered by this stuff. And they're still attacking for 1 a turn.
Daze plus
the Jace makes it
quite a combination that you have to slog through to get anything to resolve.
Play a 2-drop. What do they do against the 2-drop? They have to burn it out, so like you can't counter that. It's mostly the deck is mostly, 2 and 3 drops.
Judith can definitely lead a counter spell here.
Oh,
and we know the top card. We know the top card is a land, right?
Judith's a good card to mana leak, I would say.
Yeah. I'd be down to.
You can abrade it. You can abrade it, but I would mana leak this.
No, but you take damage,
especially when your Metallic Mimic has named Shaman.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I just figured
because of Judith.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Gets it around a shock, a Kolaghan's command, I suppose. Although if they had Kolaghan's command, they'd just blow up the Metallic Mimic and then do 2 damage to that thing. It was stacking up.
I mean, the Metallic Mimic is finally a use for this Flame Slash that is not embarrassing.
Why did they attack there for 1? That 1
because the Jace had shrunk the Goblin. It was a negative 1/1.
Got it. Okay. All right, so does Oppo attack. They're going to Flame Slash this thing.
Is there anything juicy to like flashback with Jace?
No.
Yeah,
all of the spells have been terrible. It's been like Drown Through the Lock, Mana Leak.
Yeah.
There's been a Flame Slash.
Lightning
Bolt deals 3. Chain Lightning. You're never casting this Chain Lightning.
No. You might cast it the turn you win, maybe, but I think they can actually throw it back enough to kill you.
You could use Jace to reanimate a Delver, I guess.
Yeah, you could Mind Twist for 1.
I mean, I'm Mind Twisting for 1 here. What else are I?
Yeah, I mean, that Mind Twist ain't gonna get any better, so...
They have a card in hand.
Yeah.
I would Mind
Twist
pre-combat.
Literally anything. I'm dazing to be happy.
It'd be pretty funny if it was a bolt.
If my opponent does literally anything at this point, I am dazing to pick the Triumph back up.
Yeah, you probably should. But again, I don't think
we see what Mind Twist hit. Was it a land? It was a land, right?
Yeah. Which actually could be
Yeah,
relevant, because if they try to slam a Muxus here for Hardcast 6 and have not played their land number 7, that would
Oh
be
my
pretty bad.
god, if this Daze actually counters a spell in this Magic the Gathering game, I will lose it.
It can counter Muxus. Right now, that's why you probably play it.
Dreadhorde Arcanist. This. Be careful and don't choose Chain Lightning.
Chain Lightning. Yeah. It'll finally deal with this Gabo token. All right. Dreadhorde Arcanist is going to probably be the end. I guess we'll see what their next two cards
I will
are.
be
but-
honest.
I mean, you have
I
lethal
was-
next turn, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
like,
you're one short from lethal
can
next
you
turn.
say they're not on Price of Progress? Because if they are, I could just win right now.
They
land.
shouldn't be on Price of Progress. Bastion of Remembrance is awkward here.
Yeah. Really awkward.
Days, pick up your Tridome, and I would abrade this 1/1 right now before you drains.
They want to save the Abrade, I think, because they can Telepith Unbound that to a 1/1 or a -1/1 and just save the Abrade for something better. I think.
But they're gonna have a second 1/1 here.
Oh, you
and-
mean because they can block and gain life? Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess I could see that. It's just
I'm also dazing this Bastion of Remembrance here.
yeah. I would pick up the Triome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Days pick up Tridome to cycle in case nothing happens. But they played their 7th land. This Days is literally not doing anything for the rest of this.
Yeah. So I mean, again, like I don't think this is over. I mean that's a pretty important card. I mean, it's a life point swing. They overtapped a little bit, so they're gonna have to take
Car pit.
damage off
It's
their.
a good way to get past that though.
Yeah. It's not a bad one.
Do you think you just attack here though and
I
bolt their face?
I think you're boxed into doing it, or you could Flame Slash.
I think that here you actually it might be advantageous to Chain Lightning. If you Chain Lightning and they throw it back, they might just die.
Oh, okay, so let's do the math here. So you take 4, you Chain Lightning, they're down to 1. They have to tap their Sulphurous Springs, taking 1. But they
And then you throw it back at them, and
they
then you
would
bolt
not be
them with
dead-
Jace.
Well, hold up, they wouldn't be dead to that because they have a soldier in play and they'll gain life before the damage takes, right?
Yeah, but you
And they'll
bolt their face with Jace afterwards.
Yeah, but it exiles, right? Dreadhorde Arcanist exile spells.
No, but you have a bolt and a Chain Lightning, right?
Oh, you have lethal. Okay, yeah. If you have bolt in there as well, I didn't know they had bolt in there. I thought it was just Chain Lightning. Can't see their bins right now. If we could pop out bins, that'd actually be helpful because I can't see.
They don't
bins.
have a bolt. I think the bolt already got exiled. Never mind.
They just used bolt to.
Yeah, they used a bolt. Yeah.
They just used bolt with Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Yeah, chains exiled. Okay, so they block, gain.
So you could minus Jace for Chain Lightning here and Chain Lightning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Necro's very live to draw something here. I mean, I think we're gonna be on
if
a
you
date
Chain
with
Lightning their face with Jace here, they can never throw it back to you. They will die.
Yeah, I mean they could throw it back at you. Why not?
Yeah, but then they will die.
Yep, yeah, they would. Yep, they would. So I guess you could do it, but
Yeah, okay. This guy has haste.
they just win.
No, I mean
I gotta say,
No.
no.
No, they did not. I can't see the card yet. I'm still looking at the.
It's
This
a
right
a
here.
Goblin board, Chief. It
Okay.
can attack for 2, and it's insufficient.
I think they lost an opportunity to daze there. Personally, I think I would just daze it.
I think they've.
I've
lost
already
multiple
had these
opportunities.
days like 5 times.
Pick that land up. You don't need. I mean, I guess you could be waiting for Oko to try to gain life, but it's like, come on,
I mean, to be fair, Wolfgang just has lethal on board. You
yeah, they have creeping tar pit, and they can
keeping
look for.
tar pit, game over.
No, it's over now.
It's over in a variety of ways.
Yeah, depending on what they see with Ponder here.
Oh,
They
Croxa
pondered. They found
also.
Croxa. They're gonna play Croxa.
Take 3. Just attack them with the pit. They're already
Then they
dead.
can throw the Chain Lightning with Jace, and
Does Chain Lightning deal damage and then that you?
Yes. Yeah. But it doesn't actually. You're not dead though, so like it's still resolving. So you can actually. It's one of the few. Like, there's a couple ways you can actually be at negative life totals and still taking game actions because the state-based resolution is not checked until
Yeah.
after the spell
you will
completed resolve.
only die after the spell finishes resolving. But
So you
before
can
that, you can choose to copy it, put the copy
Yep.
under stack, and then die.
Yep, exactly. All right, there's the chain. Well, I mean, if they had
There's the
attacked,
cane.
they didn't have lethal. Well, of course, they did off the creeping carpet, but yeah. All right, Shane, back to you, buddy. They should tap their cheeky sulfurous springs and be like, "You didn't kill me."
I'm
All
already
right.
at -1. I may as well take the extra -2.
I'll be honest about that game though, and this is not to like be derogatory towards anyone. I think there were quite a few like better sequences Wolf could have made.
No, I think Wolfgang played, and he was in a position at some point that was where he was ahead, and then he didn't close the game out as fast as he should have.
Yeah, there was a missed
to limit the possibility for him to lose that.
There was a missed brainstorm opportunity. There was a missed bounce opportunity on the cycling land. I can acknowledge wanting to find like a Oko, but it's not a bird in hand. You'd rather cycle it, find burn spell, lock it up. But the brainstorm was big because like your hand was not that great. You're spending flame slash to kill 1/1s and shit. It's just not, it's not really where you want to be. Now this looks like a great. So Wolfgang's hand does not lack for pressure. It does not lack for recursion, but it does kind of lack in the removal department. You have the chain, but
I do like chaining this Grenzo.
Yeah, I'm chaining this Grenzo here.
Yeah, that's kind of where you're at, right? I mean, like you probably want one more removal spell. You definitely don't want that land. That's going to help fix their mana. But Grenzo will eat the dust. I'm certain of that, and then we'll have a channeler on the next turn.
Cross. That is also a great way to use the chain lightning at the point where it can't get thrown back at you. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it's also the only removal spell you have, and this card is a card engine, and will just take over the game. So you got to kill it as fast as you can. I think.
Oh yeah.
My guess would be if they kept on a mock start with 7, they probably have a great turn 3. What do we got?
We got a Warrant Instigator. That's a magic card.
Actually does not attack through a 1/3 of note.
It does not.
Unless there's like a burn spell supporting it. If that'd be hilarious, there's like a burn spell and then like it goes to like 1 toughness and it kills it with the double strike and then it hits with the trample.
Good old Tarfire.
I can't remember. Does Warren Instigator
does not have trample?
No. Strike. There's double strike. Okay. Okay. I always forget on that card. I know it has double strike. I just always forget if it has.
We're gonna see Wolfgang play the probably safe line, a little safer than it would, like holding up Hypnotic Sprite for the Warrant Instigator.
Yeah, I like Petty Theft on it. That's pretty good.
Or not Hypnotic Sprite, Brazen Borrower.
I got you. Yeah, Petty Theft, Brazen Borrower. Yep. Although at this point they can probably just cast most things in their deck, even if this thing gets bounced. So I mean, like you're kind of showing your hand that you don't have counterspell here, but I guess you have to do this now. It's kind of why I like developing the blocker a little more. It's high risk, but I think it's higher reward here. So you bounce this, it's going to get recast, or they're going to cast a 4 drop.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with that, because if they have, like, a bolt, you just lose on the spot. Like, at that point, the game is just...
If they have a bolt, it limits the volume. So if they're replaying this, their hand probably is either really good for this card or really bad for this card. So like right now they either have 5-drop, 6-drop in hand, or they have bolt, fatal push. In which case it doesn't do anything, right? Like you're better off with the 1/3. So like the worst case is they have like 1 removal spell, 6-drop. Like, and if that happens, it happens, but it's a low variance draw. My guess is they have some big idiots in hand. If they have the 1 removal spell, we're going to see it here, and they'll get in and put their big idiot in play, because you wouldn't replay this card if you had a big idiot to play that turn with them tapped out, I don't think. I guess you get dazed, but if they're going back to 1 land drop, I think it's okay.
We see Mad Auntie come down.
Yeah, Mad Auntie will make this thing big enough to attack through the 1/3, which is reasonable.
Do you?
And again,
I don't hate not blocking here.
Yeah, I think they're... Well, look, if they didn't remove this, they have the big idiot hand. I think they drew the Mad Auntie for the turn, and they have 2 big idiots in hand. I think you're going to see, like, a Siege Gang or, like, something like that come out. I don't like blocking either. I think the play to win line is to not block, but I don't think it's going to go well for you. I think you have to hope.
I mean, you can block and then unearth your idiot.
That doesn't do anything, though. Like,
yeah,
you're just in the
maybe
same
you draw a
position.
removal spell.
Yeah, I mean, you can play Vidillion click on the same turn as you unearth, but yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, you have to see what they're playing with. And if you have to get
Yeah.
hit by this idiot, then...
I mean, an option this turn was actually just leaving up Vendilion Click, and in response to the trigger, the first trigger off Warrant Instigator, trying to take their big idiot if they have a big idiot. They may not have a big idiot, though.
Well, we're going to see if they have a big idiot.
All right, I'm getting some issues on the stream on this end. Let me refresh. I'm probably
Well, that's
watching.
a small
Wolfgang says
idiot,
punt.
but it's a good small idiot to have because it finds your big
Yeah.
idiot.
That finds the big idiot for the double strike, and then you have Muxus, and then the game is over. I mean, you could also, I guess, get the recruiter, but I think I would probably just go for the Muxus. I guess you could not do Muxus just due to the fact that they could have T-Del at this point, and that could be a beating. And this is post attack, so well, they got the recruiter anyway, so I mean, like, hey, seems good. Yeah, I think you see your draw step here. This is almost one of those points where you want to be like, hey, like, this is where it'd be better to play this match on Trice, because I'd be like, hey, like, wait to stack that up. Let me see my next draw step, and then look at your next draw step, and then be like, concede. And if save time, because like this card does take a while. Just be like, is it Toxic Deluge?
Is this
No.
card damnation? Nope. Okay, let's go to next game.
Yep, I'm good. They're not running
And
damnation.
we're done here.
They're not running damnation, but yeah, it's like one of those ones where you're like, hey, like, let me save you some time from shuffling and digging through your deck. Give me 1 minute. Let me just look. Okay, good. Your game. Game 3. Yeah, so essentially was Big Idiot. It was just a Big Idiot inadvertently. And my guess would be they have more Big Idiots in play or in hand because of how they played it before. Unless they really want to set up the ranch line, but like, I don't generally expect War Instigator to live when it does for a turn. I put them on very light removal, which their hand was. And yeah. Let's see what happens. Put 5 on top. My guess would be it's probably some sort of ringleader pile. And or a Snoop pile. Snoop would be very good with a Krenko right underneath it. But they would need haste for that. So, yeah, they don't have haste for that line where you can make a bazillion goblins and attack with them all. I don't think there's many ounce to this anyway, so I don't know if it matters too much what they got, but those are some pilings they could do. Probably a ringleader pile that sets Snoop up onto a ringleader draw. Well, they did 5 or 6. If it's 6,
It is 5.
5's weird. 6 would be more sense to me because you can ringleader as your draw. Then you have 5 cards on top. Ringleader, draw 4. You can't cast Snoop though. If you had another mana, you could cast Skirk and then get Snoop down and then activate Snoop off Krenko as 6 card. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter. Snoop has definitely done some interesting things for this deck, as well as the Pyre of whatever it is, the Birthing Pod for tribal decks.
Pyre of Heroes.
And then Muxus is obviously good in the deck, but I don't know if it does anything interesting to the deck. It just makes it really good. It's just really good. I don't know if it's per se interesting. It's just strong.
I'm surprised Wolfgang isn't starting a new match with 5 minutes on the clock.
I don't think the game will come to time. This is a very good hand for Wolfgang, though. I like this hand a lot. It's slow, but you get to hand attack them, take away their Kratz. You want to take away their Kratz component, like their Goblin Bombardment or whatever. And then you want to DT. The thing is, I don't know if you DT early here. You kind of want them to expand because you're down on cards due to Mulligan. And they're on
Are
the
we
draw.
able to see what Inquisition hit so we can kind of see Necro's hand?
Ruby, but yeah, no, I can't see. We could open that up, yeah. We could open up that 6 revealed and see. All right, Frenzy Goblin. Hey, Red Mage, is it possible to open up the revealed zone on Necro's side so we can see the cards they have in hand, roughly? Or whoever's viewing it? Sweet,
Revealed
thanks.
zone is Tarfire.
Tarfire. Fanatic, I got it. Yeah, and then
Earwig Squad.
Cool, okay. So just kind of Goblins cards, Goblin stuff.
Yeah.
And they took the fast mana because it's the one that could probably punish them the most. And yeah, they're going to probably look to set up a Deluge or a Fire Covenant at some point.
They get to attack with Dreadhorde and recast Inquisition next turn as well.
Yeah, it's very good. I mean, if they block here, they can actually just 2-for-1 themselves to Tarfire. It's probably worth it. But they're probably not going to block. Yeah, I like not wasting the mana. They're probably not blocking. Actually, have multiple ways to do it, right? Mog Fanatic. Now you can, well, you should probably Tarfire that idiot. Because you don't want to get Inquisition again. You're already going to get 2-for-1 off this card, so you might as well just Tarfire Mog Fanatic, the Dreadhorde. It sucks, but I think it's the right play. And at this point, Wolfgang is in a very good spot.
Yeah.
Based on what they have in hand, it's, yeah, you want the Kratz stuff.
You get the DT here, Demonic Tutor.
Yeah, you do. I honestly don't know that I do here. I might
I
wait.
mean, the other option is just you basically do nothing, which I don't particularly like.
Yeah, it's not a likable line. You have to play your land first. Yeah, River of Tears. Yeah, Dreadbore is fine here. I mean, it's a 1/1, but it's honestly I wouldn't mind Dreadbore either. I just like saving the DT, or you could DT for a win con. If I DT here, I want to get a win con. Is generally what I want to go for. At this point, I don't want to find Wrath.
Is Wolfgang playing any Moxes in his deck? Probably not, right?
No, it's a DT Tainted Pact small points list. It doesn't run Ancestral. It's a small points Grixis list, but no Moxen.
Because
And
if Wolfgang was playing a Mox, he could play the Mox and then actually no Storm, and then he could play Stormwing into
Yeah. Stormwing is castable,
which would have been a good find.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think like the burn spells are as good against Grixis guys, but yeah, they could.
Yeah, Lightning Bolt.
I feel like I just get a walker there and just set up to win, like or just
Liliana of the Last Hope seems really good.
Yeah, that'd be a good one to get because it would deal with a lot of their threats and it sets up to win. And it also mills and gets you more value over time. They want to set up a bolt plus cast a Stormwing entity, so they're going to kill their turn 3 play here and then set up Stormwing, which is also reasonable. It builds equity in the play that you have right now. So they have a 5/3, which still dies to bolt, as Wolfgang knows about. Yeah, that's accurate, guys. We are at 1-1. Game 1 went in favor of Necro, and then game 2 went in favor of Wolfgang.
I mean, this card doesn't do that much against you, Wolfgang.
Oh, Wolfgang is regretting
not
starting a new game now.
Wolfgang is in the driver's seat, that's for sure, this game.
The Stormwing should close the game out fairly quickly.
Yeah, I mean, look, like, they're going to be tapped out next turn. Even if they draw land, it doesn't really matter unless it's, like, literally, like, days. And if a burn spell has been drawn, you know, the Stormwing could be gone, and both players got nothing. I don't know about that. Maybe. I mean, here you probably just Dreadbore and save the Bolt because Bolt can go to face. I like saving Bolt and go to face. You want to close, and it also complements.
Yeah,
I like saving the Bolt, but
I like saving the Bolt most. Well, yeah, I like saving the Bolt here.
If it was Terminate, maybe I save Terminate. Burn Bolt over Terminate, but Sorcery Speed is kind of the big deal. Like Muxus is Muxus. If it resolves, you just die. So it's like the kill spells aren't good against like the big creatures they have. So Bolt kills most things, and that being equal, I kind of like saving it to go to face and just build up a good aggressive line. I mean, Necro's at a point now. That's actually a really good one. That does combat the burn. It also combats Stormwing. That's a Bushwhacker, and now they have a really good attack. They can get in for 6, and there's really not a good block on.
The Stormwing can block one of them, right?
Well, they can block the Sledder, and then the Sledder can become a 3-power.
Oh no, that's a Frenzied Goblin. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, they're right.
They could also 2/1 though. The Bushwhacker.
No, the Frenzied Goblin. There's a Frenzied Goblin.
Sledder puts it on whatever you want. So Sledder's very good, and it even blanks cards like this. Like if they try to do this, whatever they're targeting is going to die. One of them will die, and it'll make the other one bigger. So it blanks red removal cards like Fork Bolt.
Well, you target Sledder with both of the Fork Bolt targets.
Sure, you could do that, and then what are you doing? Attacking, and then trading for 2 damage. I think I'm fine trading for 2. Right, trading 2 for 4. At this point, I'm happy with that as a Goblins player. Yep.
I mean, you might also just. I mean, the thing is that as long as the Frenzied Goblin is around, you can't block.
Now, I think the right play was to put 2 damage on the Sledder, and I think Necro possibly lost an opportunity to keep Sledder around. Frenzied Goblin, yes, you're right, doesn't make it you're unable to block with 1 threat, but I think Sledder is just a bigger game. This is a big game too. It'll die next turn, but this is 4 damage. That's not nothing. Dreadbore again, like not looking great. You don't really want to spend it on 1/1s.
Well, no, but the Medaunt is a decent target.
All right, it's not blocking this turn for sure. They have Village Bellringer, Manamorphose. Mana Leak, again, not great. Get a Dreadbore, the Auntie. And now 2 a turn's looking kind of nasty. They got Leak up, though.
Yeah,
At
that's
some point...
drain.
Hmm?
That's drain.
Yeah, Drain. Mana Drain. I mean, if you draw burn spells, you start upkeeping it, though. Whatever they're going to do here is going to get drained, more than likely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Grenzo, drained. Which,
How-
you're winning the race right now. I mean, unless they draw literally a burn spell next turn, you're probably winning this race. If they start landing out at all, trouble for them.
If Wolfgang draws any removal, which we know he's playing a lot of, you get to remove the Frenzy Goblin and then
block.
Yeah.
block.
But then any burn is kind of like bad off the top. Like, I really like Wolfgang pressuring Necro's life total here anyways. But all right, that's a Duress, probably one of the worst draws in the deck. At this point in the game, man, probably in the pitch up.
Yeah.
You still cast
That's
it.
your attack for
Get the
one
power
more.
trigger.
Yeah,
Attack.
Yep, you do cast it. I mean, it's a prowess trigger is what it is. It's literally like it's like monastery.
One
monastery
mana, get +1/+1 until end of turn.
Monastery Mentor math with Pyroblast. You just target your own Monastery Mentor with it.
And then you daze your own Pyroblast and then pay for the daze.
Yep. Alrighty. And let's see what Wolfgang draws. I mean,
You
at this
could
point,
draw Cantrip into...
Cantrip into Bolt, maybe. Vendilion Clique's certainly not it. Because that gets blanked out by the Sharpshooter, and that's going to be game.
Yeah.
All right, Gabos takes it. Congratulations to Necropotence. I do think it's a harder matchup for Grixis. I think, the game they got, you definitely want Sweeper. You want to pressure them. You got to kill them. Like, that's the biggest thing with Grixis on that matchup, in my opinion, is you want 1 to 2 removal spells. No more than 1 counter spell, generally, because most of their cards don't matter for countering. You have to just counter, 1 maybe. And then, 2 threats lands. 2 lands. Maybe, threat, cantrip, but a good good threat. All right, we have a lot of cards drawn at this point. I don't know what
the hands are not correct. I haven't fixed them yet.
Oh, okay, he's drawing just to see his deck.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Got it. Cleaning Dust would have been good. I was like, did someone cast a Peer into the Abyss in this game with a lot less troll in play? I like their style. Hell of a deck. It's Dredgestorm. I've actually built Dredgestorm. That's a fun deck. It's utterly unnecessary, but it's very cool.
It has 2 5-power creatures. That's not bad.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, the person with a lot less troll in play certainly does not appear to be winning. But they have 2 cards now. They could have creatures. Play creatures and then regenerate their thing. Or just block.
Grim Flare is doing Grim Flare things as it does.
Yeah.
What put counters on these things? There's 3+1/+1 counters on the Grim Flare.
We pull the bin up and probably find out. I mean, there's 5 counters total, so my guess would be a Virtuous Gear Hulk.
Drag Mangler was scavenged.
Oh, okay. How does that work? I thought it only targeted 1. Why do they all have counters?
The other one you can cast and it puts counters.
Yeah, the other one put counters on itself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can kick it to put 2+1/+1 counters.
For whatever reason, I thought that was Opposition Agent because the art, look, I'm going to say it, the art of Modern Magic cards looks very similar. And that Skyclave, what is it, Ghoul or Apparition or whatever, very similar to Oppo Agent from a distance, yeah.
Well, that was a quick
that was
game we saw there.
I don't know if that's
decisive.
The match, but...
Am I wrong? But from a distance, that looks like Opposition Agent, doesn't it?
From a distance, again, yes.
Yeah, in the appearance, I've got it on stream, so I'm looking at it small.
It's a home position of black and purple, right? It's
yeah. It's the art. The art's just very similar. Yeah, it's not once you look at the card, but from a distance, you're like, oh, the Oppo Agent.
Is it?
Yep. No person. It definitely was kicked. I just thought it was an Opposition Agent, so I was trying to figure out the other 3 counters. The thing that first came to mind was the Virtuous Gear Hulk had been cast.
That was still kind of confusing. You don't see a Drag Mangler getting scavenged every day, even though there is actual text that appear on the card.
Yeah, it's quite good. I mean, that's a very good card. It's 3 mana, 3/3.
Anything but a Death Shadow. Come on.
What's that?
Who scavenges anything but Death Shadow?
Oh yeah, yeah. If you can do that kind of nonsense, yeah, just make things massive. It's very rare. Like I remember, like in the limited format, like my first pool was Golgari. That was Guilds of Ravnica, I think.
I mean,
And
Dragmangle
Scavenge.
was in.
I didn't
Dragmangle,
like Scavenge in limited.
yeah. I mean,
I got blown out
in
a lot with it.
I think it was in Gate Crash actually that was Golgari. It was that set. It was a return to Ravnica Gate Crash. I don't remember with, but Golgari was not a good deck.
I thought Scavenge.
Luca,
Gate
that
Crash
is a
was
Varolz.
without a
No,
doubt
it
Return to Ravnica.
it was the new mechanic that what they put in Guilds of Ravnica was Undergrowth. We got Mausoleum
Correct.
Secret, right?
All right, so okay, it was Gate Crash then. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Gate Crash was like all aggro all the time. I didn't know Scavenge. I forgot Scavenge was in that.
No, I think it was.
Okay.
I mean, I think when Baby Golgari was in Return to Ravnica.
Return to
actually.
Ravnica.
Return to Ravnica. Ravnica something, man. I
Yeah.
forget. You know, it's one of
But
3 Ravnicas.
Golgari was still probably the second worst guild in that set.
It was so bad because like that was back when you drafted it. You had to draft a guild for the pre-release, and like I was like, oh, I'll play Golgari. It'll be cool. And I got a Deathrite Shaman, which sold for a lot of money, but like my deck was not great. I was not happy with it. I was like, man, this scavenge ability feels
Like,
horrible.
If I remember that limited format correctly, it was like Izzet was just undraftable. Golgari was just kind of bad, and then you would like Azorius was pretty good. What else was in Return to Ravnica? Rakdos? Rakdos was really good, and Celestia
Rakdos
was
had
really good.
the blood crazed giant.
The only thing I remember was
Blood
also was
Free
really strong.
Giant.
Also was incredibly strong.
What's that?
Also was format defining.
I'm sorry. What was?
Also with Extort.
Yeah.
Extort was Gate Crash. I definitely remember that.
Yeah, that was a while back. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
That's right,
Orzhov
yeah,
was Gate Crash. The 5 guilds in the Return to
was
Ravnica were Selesnya, Rakdos, Golgari, Izzet, and Azorius.
I don't know why. I always felt like I was doing that draft format wrong if I wasn't in white-red, because white-red just crushed in that format. It was so aggressive.
In Gate Crash, yeah, Boros was by far the best deck.
Yeah, you just crushed with it. It was like if you got that deck, you were like, okay, I can't lose. You just crush people with it. You're like, great.
I mean, you would lose to Gruul. That was how you would lose. That like you would find somebody with a good Gruul deck, and it turns out that he was also fast, but their creatures were just a tiny bit bigger than yours, and you were like,
they were they were slower too, but yeah, they were a little slower. So I mean, they died to other decks. Like the deck was still the best, but yeah.
Yeah, if you go like 2-drop into 3-drop, and your opponent plays like a 2-drop that doesn't have haze but is a little bit bigger, you still didn't like like the deck was.
That's why you play your oh crap, what's it called? Sky Knight Elite or whatever it is.
Oh, Sky Knight Legionary, yeah,
that yeah. And your Legion Loyalist, you your first strike and then pump them. Or mugging was the cantrip. It was mugging for 2 and then tap their idiot or can't block or something.
Sky Knight Legionary was the best. It was like in all 3 Ravnica blocks and in all of 3 of them. It was awesome. Anyway,
that's great.
Let's.
Yeah, sorry, we're talking about old cards.
Yeah, let's get out and let's go through our end of tournament announcements and go rate somebody. Cosme?
If you want to join the Discord and play Canlander in various formats such as Cockatrice or MTGO or Cam, then webcam, then join the Discord. We have a website. If you want to know more about our events, go and check out our website. It's the10thpoint.weebly.com. We have a next event posted. You can type next event in the chat, and then you should be able to get the link. And the link will also be in the Discord as well. Also, if you have a Twitch Prime, it should go to someone. If it's us, we'd greatly appreciate it. But make sure to give it to someone at the very least. I think that's it. Unless anyone else has anything else to add.
I just want to thank you all for having me here. And for all you folks out there, simple terms, format rocks. I mean, you just saw it. Come out and play, man.
Anytime.
Really good format. All right, I'm going to cut out, guys. Take it easy. Thank you again.
Talk to you later.
Later.
And as always, if you're afraid that playing with Moxes, Black Lotuses, Demonic Tutors, all the duels is going to be the end of the world, I would like to remind you that the last 2 weeks, Necropotence, aka Nicole, has gone 4-0, twice in a row, with budget Black-Red Goblins. I have won an entire season with mono red on the budget.
Doesn't her deck still have Moxen in it?
Yeah, like
That
it's
has actually
budget
gone
with
down to 2
boxes,
tickets or
but
something. I actually talked to Necro about it. That is actually on the cheap right now.
Yeah, I mean, Moxen are not expensive on Magic Online, obviously. But
No, not anymore. He used to be, but
anyway,
boxes is $10 still. But yes,
not Maxus. I was thinking of Moxen. Was like
Moxen.
they're not that
And
bad. They're
Moxen
like
are
Gosmith
Moxen
was
are
saying
cheap.
something like, if you're afraid of playing with Moxen. I was like, Necro
No,
one big
I
budget
mean,
Goblins.
some
Like,
people
what
think
the
it's
deck
really
had
expensive.
Moxen?
some people don't realize that they're not actually that bad.
Yeah, the Power 9 is not crazy expensive. Even Black Lotus,
No.
which is a little bit on the pricier side, is like, you know, several dollars instead of several $1,000s.
Yup.
Anyway, I feel like creating a channel that's a little smaller this time, and I found somebody that is doing something weird, in which I have no idea from the title what they're doing. So we're gonna read them. And I will be talking to you next week. Talk to you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Let's get some gobbles in the chat.
Yeah. What did you say?
Let's get some gobbles in the chat. Like
Yeah,
so.
let's do that. Let's go. Let's go hang out. Okay. Talk to you then. Bye.